I think we're live, and I'm going to bring in Sister Sunshine pretty soon. It says that we've been live for 13 seconds. That's weird. I just got somebody replied to me, Nancy, on another page. Oh, she was replying to something I said. Welcome to the wake. I'm hoping to turn a new leaf. Say that God's probably going to be non-existent because of the human frailty. But I'm gonna be saying before I bring Sister Sunshine in that where Thickshades is right was my approach with him. My bad things that were happening on his side that I discovered, and that's the way that I hope to go. So there's a couple things maybe that I'll present to private to Sam, but related to my material, copyrighted material that's still on his channels. This will be the last chance that I'll give him because I know that he's going to see it. You shouldn't have my copyrighted material. Mine. You know what I haven't. So I'm glad you've subscribed to me. Teaching Jesus today, Bruce. I'm not Bruce. Looks like Sister Sunshine left. Subscribe to me. I'm gonna, when you come back in, Sister Sunshine, I will bring you in, but I want to do the gamble. Oh, you are coming. I think you're coming back in right now. I don't want to bring you back in until I see it. There you are. Preaching Jesus today. Maybe talking about. I mean, it depends. We'll see how it goes. I'm always game for that. But my name's not Bruce, and I don't think Bruce is in here right now. So you don't need to talk with him just yet. So again, back to what I said before. Approach was incorrect, and I am sorry for that to Sam. It should not have gone public, but it was the battle that has been raging for 6 years, it seems, has gone back and forth. So when something new was discovered, the fleshly part of me, wanted to make sure that folks knew who they were dealing with. That being said, with Thickshades, the approach that I should deal with any instance that happens here is that we should aim not to publicly embarrass whether or not somebody's a believer or not. The standard shouldn't just be for the brethren, as some people might want to say. It should be a standard that we, especially if you claim to be Christian, it's a standard that I think we should use in all cases with the goal of not publicly embarrassing somebody. So that was my mistake. So there's, in the wake, the funeral, with everything being over, that's what I will apologize for. I will not recant anything that I said because I never was untruthful. I have not false flagged anybody. I have not tried to take somebody's channel away. I did not warn. So I guess if, again, this is going to be the repentance and apology video. I could have warned Sam, but when he complained the last time that I didn't warn, I went on the videos now. You can still see a couple that I said to be flagged. That's about as good a warning as I can give. And I think I gave that warning 2-3 days ago, and he still has them up. Hopefully you take those down. If you, again, talking about fair use before I bring Sister Sunshine in, if your fair use requires that you not use the entire thing. Don't use the entire thing. Pick out things that you want to comment on and use those snippets. It requires more work, but if you have a little bit of preparation beforehand, it doesn't even have to be that long. You can timestamp stuff that you hear and then go to the timestamp on the video that you're displaying rather than just go through and then use certain snippets when there's not a lot going on and you're not all that interested to pause and say, oh, look what a stupid idiot he is, and then laugh. You can say that. That's your free speech, and you can fair use. You can use a clip and say, what a stupid idiot, but don't use the whole thing. So now that we've done that, let's add Sister Sunshine to the stream. How are you, Sister Sunshine?
I'm doing well, thank you. So you got to bring me
Good.
up to date. I saw a couple of your videos, and then I did watch part of one of Sam's videos. So bring me up to date.
Well, I didn't see Sam's response. I think that he did respond because he sent me a link. But to keep you up to date, the last few weeks we've been, Bruce and I have been getting down and dirty with the stuff. And in particular, Sam, in response, had put up videos that were violating my copyright. So in the violation of my copyright, I flagged him. And he got mad, and then it just started building and building and building. And so I decided, and it was after some prayer, and it was after listening to David, the Forerunner story, things that he said, after reading Scripture and seeing what Scripture says, that it's just I'm tired, and it's not good, and it's not edifying, and it's not building up. So I'm hoping, especially on this channel, because I've kept the drama away from this channel, that I want to, and I still want to keep the drama away as best as I can, but I want to build fellowship maybe with this channel too, and maybe I'll be inspired with hi Sabella, maybe I'll be inspired with writing new music, things like that, because I haven't done that in a long time, and it's about time. I mean, by a long time, it's been a year since I've written a new song, and the 8 songs that I did last year, it's one of the things that I do to serve God is have not come to fruition yet. I haven't finished them, and so this kind of stuff just wastes my time, the drama aspect. But I think if I build myself up here, this will be hopefully the beginning of more positive things, and particular because it can't be helpful for Sam either. I know it's not, because there's so much anger on both sides. And so what happened today is I did a video where I it was trolling a little bit. It was like a Rickroll, where I don't know if you saw it. I have this graphic where there's a picture of Thickshades, and I'm about to punch him, and he's up there, and it says "pow," with the idea that people are going to go, "Oh yeah, this is it," and then have Scripture come up to say, "Nah, I'm not going to return insult for insult."
Yeah, I did see that one. I did see that one.
So that was the epic showdown cage match, was that I was just going to say, Sam, blessings to you, sir. And hope you return them to me. I haven't seen the return yet, but again, there's a lot of anger. And I don't blame him. So Sabella says peace. She says weak. Oh, man, there's so many people that are going to say weak. But look, like I said earlier, I don't know if you jumped in, Sabella. Nothing I said that, I don't claim that what I said was wrong. I didn't lie. I didn't false accuse. I didn't false flag. All of those things are incorrect. What I didn't do was my approach was not concerned about my fellow human beings' embarrassment. Right. And then it became like, can you top each other? And it just got silly. So yeah, no, I know you're playing, Sabella, but I think somebody just needs to step up. I don't think the Loving Christian's here, and he says, "Is this a so-called apology?" As best I can, there's a lot of anger. When you're mad, it's really tough to apologize to somebody that has wronged you as well. But yeah, I'm trying.
I think you have very high hopes. I'm not going to hold out a lot of. I don't know what the word would be, but you know where I'm going with this, right? I'm not entirely convinced that this is going to be accepted, and that any real. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not naive, so I don't believe it's going to be accepted either. In fact, there was a comment, and I figured that was the whole thing, the whole video that Sam did in response. He made a comment that says he's not done. So he's not done, but I'm done. So if he's done, then that's fine. Yeah, Sabella, you can get a wrench. That's fine.
Yeah, because he can make as many videos as he wants. It doesn't mean anybody has to watch them. I think most of his videos are watched by sock accounts, and just a few of his. Any of us Christians on YouTube, because of the algorithms, it's nearly impossible to get views from people that aren't already your friends, from way back.
Especially if you have any form of Christian content, right? If you have any form of Christian content, you're not gonna get flagged by YouTube for front page access, right? And I did notice with there was the hangout that Thickshades unequally yoked with Universalist. The hang. Sorry, I lost for a second. But the hangout that Thickshades had with Bill were like, I think 25, 26 people in time, and then it was over. It had like 30. You can see that the majority of people that were in there at the time were sock accounts. So there's a lot of sock accounts there, and again, it's not an issue of having. There aren't a lot of people in the world that know about the situation. So, but I figured that I'd just nip it in the bud. It's not good for me. It's not good for my ministry. It's not good for the people that I was pointing fingers at, and people can point fingers at me too. So I have to be reminded of that. So looking at the chat, Brucey Almighty says, "Hey Robbie, what's this? More gossips? I thought Robbie was done." I am done with the drama.
I think people are confusing gossip with relaying of information.
Yeah.
Gossip is something that you don't maybe have all the facts, and you're maliciously speaking to other people to influence or manipulate the opinions, right, of the crowd or of the group. But when you're sharing factual information, and we're not doing this, I mean, this is on the worldwide interwebs, right? So it's not like it's going on behind closed doors or anything like that. The greatest defense, right, against a slander or libel is the truth.
Right.
And if something's truthful, it's truthful. There's a difference between gossip and informing people about the truth. On my way home last night, I actually tuned into a really interesting live stream, and it was a guy that is a psychologist. He's licensed, but he is a Christian, and he has done a lot of interviews with people that are horrible individuals, right? Serial killers. I mean, all the worst of the worst. But the whole focus of his ministry is helping churches to identify predators. And one of the things that he mentioned was that every single offender, whether they were a murderer, a child molester, all of these horrible people that he's dealt with in the prison system, the number one thing that they all had in common was pornography, viewing pornography. And they all started with quote unquote normal, right, pornography. The stuff that is kind of the entry pornography, right? Like a Playboy, I guess, or what are these, right? But then as they needed more stimulation, they got darker and darker, and they kind of go down this. He had a graph, and it was showing the increasing depravity of the content, and a lot of that led to child pornography, very violent imagery, S&M, this kind of stuff. And I was actually thinking about this whole situation with Sam, and I've talked directly to him. We had a chat, and he was saying he wouldn't allow his managers or whatever to do this and that. Right. This big circular argument that went on. But, I was really thinking about that Pokemon thing and how it led there. And this guy last night was talking about that the way that they lure people into certain sadomasochistic practices is the furries and what they call puppy play. And I saw a photo recently of a child that was at a pride parade, and there were adult males on leashes with these weird leather masks that looked like dogs, right? And this kid is petting this person. Now, it's a small child, so the child's obviously innocent and thinks that this is some kind of game right? But from the adult perspective, you're looking at this going, this is S&M. This is this weird puppy play that leads to weirder and weirder and more deviant behaviors. It's all about the gateway. So Sam, as a Christian, right, he professes to be a Christian. Only God knows his heart. Only God knows the status of his soul. But I will warn that we are to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, right? Habitual sin leads to a reprobate status. heart, you know, you get a hardened heart, you know, a seared conscience. You know, and would you even want to be remotely associated with something that could lead a child, right? Open the gateway that could lead to something much worse farther down the line. There was a guy that had interviewed Ted Bundy, Dr. Dobson, and Ted Bundy said that a lot of his issues started when he found a pornographic magazine in a dumpster as a child. And he was exposed to this, you know, and then he started down that slope of depravity. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have personal responsibility for what he did. He certainly does. However, do you want to be the person that maybe opened the gate? You know, do you want to be the person that potentially, because maybe 1,000 kids could have typed in Pokemon.net, seen that content and been like, you know, and shut it off. But there might be the one kid. There might be the one kid that it plants a seed, and later on down the line, it goes somewhere negative. So that's not gossip. That's truthful. That really happened. You know, now Sam, whether he did it, whether a manager did it, you know, whatever his explanation is for it, there does come a point where it's like, you know, if that was me, that would have been gone. You know what I mean? I would have sold off all of those. And this is what was in my conversation with him. Why aren't you selling off these domains? You're professing to be a Christian. You know that this is harmful content for somebody, right? There's enough men out there with dysfunction and ruined marriages, you know, that have porn addictions, right? We're supposed to avoid even the appearance of sin. That's definitely an appearance of sin. So I want to say that I make a distinct difference in judgment as to what is gossip and what is telling the truth about something, right? Because we saw this in the past with child molesters in the church. We've seen this, right? This is what happened in the Catholic Church. This happened in many churches back in the day, that people wanted to handle things internally. They didn't want to gossip. They didn't want to, right? And a lot of people got hurt because of the Christians' inability or unwillingness to drag something out into the light. You know, what they should have been doing is dragging people into the parking lot, right? And making it very wide open and clear. But they didn't. Part of it was embarrassment. Part of it was protecting the image of the church and so on and so forth. But God says everything that happens in the dark is going to be exposed. And it has been. And look at the damage it's done to churches, the Catholic Church, you know, which I don't know if they're, you know how I feel about Catholics, but, you know, right? Any organization, I don't care what it is, if it's a daycare, whatever. The minute you have something like that going on and you don't get rid of it and expose it, then you're part of the cover-up.
I think it would have been like, again, I'm going back to where the mechanism that I should have used to expose this particular thing. It should have been in private. So I'll keep that. And why I say that is it's the definition of gossip doesn't require something like, it's not whether something is truthful or not. It's just casual or unconstrained conversation about someone else. And they may not be there. I think, you know, in all cases, but it's not good. When you're in a medium like this, it's like a talk medium. You cannot get away from it. You know, in the same way, like in the comments, Bruce the Almighty and the Loving Christian is, you know, saying gossip and stuff. And he knows that the person he's supporting, if Bruce the Almighty and the Loving Christian is not Sam, you know that Sam does the same thing. He just, you know, it's the same either way. And I'm not going to condemn him for it. I don't condemn him because that's what this medium is about. But when somebody does something wrong, it should be in private, I think. So that's where, you know, hopefully the drama as it relates to me, that's where it's going to go. Where there would have been a big problem is if I did go in private on the Pokemon.net issue and nothing was done. You know, when I did it publicly, it required somebody that he respected, I think, at the time, to convince him. Like, it wasn't enough. It was going to stay. Now, and again, all that stuff said, this is for Sam's benefit, hopefully. I think that in his anger, like I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he hasn't properly explained how that all went down. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's not the one who made the decision to point all of this horrible content. In other words, he said he had these domains and he gave them to this company that you could hire on the internet and said, make me some money. And then they decided to do it, you know, so sort of like a hands-off thing. he did that, and certainly it's much less culpable. But I'd love it if he was clear and just said, and maybe that would have all been a calm, casual conversation if it was private, where he would say to that, I gave him my domains. I didn't know exactly what was going there. That's good. So I'm going to fix it, and it might have there might have been a much better conclusion to it all. That's my hope. So that's the goal. So for Bruce the Almighty and Loving Christian, what do you think about that? What is your opinion on that? If that's a good idea to try and be positive. Brucey, Sam didn't make a single dime. I don't know how you would know Bruce the Almighty unless you were Sam, and then you say go and talk to Sammy. How do you know that Sam? It would be better if you came as you are. We're trying to have an adult conversation right now. That's the hope, and you're just trying to turn it into a child thing. The Loving Christian says, "Who cares about your theories?" I don't care about yours, and I don't care about your comments. So go ahead and make comments and do what you want, but I'm not going to address you. And if I start addressing them, Sister Sunshine, kick me under the chair. So yeah, I think you probably agree with me on that. So I'm going to give Sam the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say that he didn't know about all that stuff. He approached it better. It would have worked out better. And but I agree with you that the domain names are not a good thing for somebody who uses Christianity to make a lot of sense.
Well, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. You remember the conversation, because I wasn't aware of any of this kind of stuff. I hadn't been active on YouTube for a while. I come back. We had that chat with Thickshades, and remember he was trying to say what is porn and what isn't porn, and then he was saying it's not that bad. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, I understand where you're coming from as far as, if you would have gone to him privately, maybe, he would have not reacted quite the same. But his response to my questions was a lot of obfuscation and not a lot of, you know what I mean? Like, I think I would have had more respect if he would have just said, yeah, I push porn. You know what I mean? I would have been like, okay, that's where you're at, But when you start arguing about what is and what isn't porn and this and that, that's, come on.
And then, like, the people who create content, it wasn't, but he pointed there. That was the thing to do with it. But we're gonna try and move past all that stuff. I think that God's word is pretty clear. That's why I posted that video today, that it's not a good thing to return insult for insult, but I will be free to say, to give Sam, with all the insulting he's been doing, that I caused him to stumble. There's no doubt about that. And that was not a good thing. So Matt L does have a say here. So Matt L, I'm gonna give you a wrench as well, so you can feel whatever you want to do to the folks who hopefully, let me maybe get the right guy. Matt, you're now a moderator, so you can do what you like. If you'd like a link to the chat and you'd like, you can send me an email at robert@gmail.com, and this is to keep out the riffraff from the private chat and the robotic voices. We can be adults here, and that's the hope. So Matt L is Catholic, and Catholic bad people. Sister Sunshine and I, we disagree on. I disagree with that, but some people get really stuck on the. I mean, there's such a problem, but there's an element. There's always going to be fighting. I'm lagging again. I saw some pastor today of Missouri. Hopefully, I'm not too lagged right now, Sister Sunshine, because you look frozen. But I go to a Lutheran church, but it is an ELCA church, which has a lot of internal problems with it. It wouldn't the dream church be as a non-believer, liberal, California liberal, to go, oh wow, they stand for all these things, but from a Missouri Synod Lutheran pastor who, the Missouri Synod pastor, he just smacked on the ELCA, but did it very lovingly. The ELCA, to give you perspective, and my church still affiliated, but I just didn't name, I think, because the pastor is not a fan either. The pastor or the bishop of the ELCA is gay. He's a gay man. I believe that he's married, believe it or not. So, yeah, you close your email. I'll close a couple things. I think my email is open.
Yeah, like I had a couple browser windows open and things, and when I closed those, it got a lot better.
No, it's me. I've said it before, but the internet here, I'm on the end of the office space, and it's on the opposite side, so it's not as I don't know. People can agree to disagree each other on somebody that I think that does it. Punk rock, agnostic, Buddhist, whatever you were for a while. All right. Am I going in and out again?
Yeah, you're going in and out a little bit. I caught the Lutheran
I was just saying that
pastor is gay, but he's married. I caught that.
It's interesting. I was speaking to Matt, talking about how I feel about you, that you're I enjoy. So even though you can disagree, you can still talk to them, and that's my hope. That's what we can do. Is we can.
Yeah. I don't have anything.
Try and expose each other.
Yeah, I don't have anything against individual Catholics. I feel that they're being misled. I'm a victim of Catholic school, and but that really doesn't feed into my feelings too much. I disagree with a lot of their theology. And I have a very strong distaste for their current pope.
Oh, well, because he's who's ever been, right? Yeah, I think I'm going out. If it, because right now all windows are closed. I even closed chat. So if it's not going to get any better, then I'm going to hang that. But Matt L says if then it's up. Yeah, I mean, basically, I think that God can work in anything. Some of the actually, and I believe there are people who are Catholic because that have Filipina, so half of they're a Catholic country, and I haven't encountered a single one of them who's a Christ believer and they claim Catholic who does not love Jesus, who did not point me to him, who does not show in the whole in proof of respect. I Catholicism in some ways too. Otherwise, I'd be Catholic. But I think I go back to the idea of belief. To change your mind and to believe, to believe, and we all believe in Jesus. That's enough. If you've turned from the world, you turn from sin and recognize that you need Jesus, and then believe in everything He did. That's enough. And then everything else that we do, with praying to a Virgin Mary statue or something, that's just another part of the sin and wickedness. If you believe that of our eternal. And that's why we need Jesus in the first place. If I'm truly consistent, what we'll do is repent and believe. That's what a Catholic really does too, even if I don't agree with the way that they worship or whatever. That's fun to hash that out. I'm just saying that for Matt's sake, so he doesn't feel like he's being jumped on. Matt says he could say some Christian religions are misled. Totally. And I see people like one of my favorite is somebody named Audrey Assad. Familiar with Audrey Assad? Sunshine, if you can hear me. Familiar with Assad?
I heard something about Assad.
No, not Syria. Are you familiar with Assad? The cat. She's a music artist. Audrey Assad.
No,
Okay, sorry, this is going to be tough. She's Catholic, and she writes some of the most brilliant and beautiful music for Jesus that I've ever heard. And we use her music often. And she's just, she considers herself a Catholic. She doesn't want to move away from that. Unfortunately, when she became popular, a lot of people in the Christian sect, Protestant sect, they stopped buying her records because she was a Catholic. And to me, I just go, wow, it's your loss, because she really uplifts me. So check her out. I put her name in the chat. Marie and I, my wife, we've done a couple of Audrey Assad covers. We play a couple of her songs at church, and it's awesome. So check her out.
I don't discriminate, or like, I wouldn't make a decision whether I was going to listen to her music or not based upon that she's a Catholic. My issues are more on what the church teaches, their basic theology, their dependence on extra biblical sources, statements by the Pope, like that Mary is a co-redemptrix with Christ. These type of things are the things that I take issue with.
Yeah. Did the new Pope say that Mary was a co-redemptrix?
Yeah, he recently came out with something like that, following kind of along the lines of Pope John Paul II. But that's not really a new belief, I mean, they're coming out and saying it, but if you go back to they're called scapulars, when I was a kid, we all had them. We all went to Catholic school. We all wore these scapulars, and, basically it's, Mary supposedly gave these scapular, and, if you're wearing it when you die, it's like a free ticket to heaven, you'll definitely be saved, and these type of things. So the idea that Mary has active participation in the salvation of a soul is not new to Catholicism. That's been there all along.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the stuff, like even with my mother-in-law, she's very well intentioned, but some of the stuff that makes me a little uncomfortable with Catholicism is the idol worship. And in the Philippines, it happens a lot, where the statues have power. And a statue of the baby Jesus is very popular. They call it Santo Niño.
Mm-hmm. And there's also the infant of Prague. You see the little baby that has the crown, and he's got the robe, and that's in many churches here in the States, the infant of Prague. Yeah,
same idea. So the Santo everywhere, and my at her house, and I was a new Christian, and I went because it was my mother-in-law and I wanted to support her, and she was excited for me. Somebody who was raised Catholic her whole life in the Philippines, that was primarily Catholic. I don't think she really knows, to be honest, other than stuff that I told her, as to why I'm not Catholic. When we've talked about it the very few times, I don't think she really realizes the objection to all that stuff, because it was a part of the culture. It was ingrained in Filipino culture. Santo Niño, everyone has a Santo Niño statue, but she had an event. They brought in, and I swear, there's so many frauds out there, and they brought in this Virgin Mary statue that allegedly had these powers, and they put it up, and they do the 50 Hail Marys or whatever it is. And I'm just sitting there, and even as a new Christian, not knowing exactly theology, in other words, I hadn't seen a lot of YouTube videos. It's a little joke there. But I felt in my craw, I go, oof, like, it's the Holy Spirit in me going, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah. When I was in school, when I was in school, and this was not too long after Vatican II, and so there was still a lot of things that were being practiced that you may not see as much today. But like on the Christmas midnight mass, everybody lines up and kisses the statue. The priest has a little baby statue, and everybody goes and kisses it. There was one of the things where it was a certain prayer that you did, and we had the big crucified Jesus with the big gaping wound and all that. And there's certain prayers that you would say, and you would touch the different wounds, and you would put your hands in the side of the gaping wound on the statue. And I mean, there's a lot, and there's a lot of mysticism built around like weeping statues and statues that sweat oil and all of this kind of stuff,
Right.
And then there's prayers to the saints, right? Everybody, when you get confirmed, you pick the name of your patron saint that that you're going to take on their name. There's, I mean, I used to have a big book. There was a big book of saints, and so if you had a problem, right, you could look through this book and find the saint that he was the patron saint of whatever. Like Saint Lucy was the patron saint of eye diseases and vision, and you've got this saint or that saint, and that's who you would pray to intercede on your behalf with the Lord. And like your mother-in-law, the only exposure I had to any type of Christianity was when I was at school, because my parents were not Christian. And I remember my first Bible study when I was in Japan. I came across this missionary, and I had no idea what the Bible actually said. I believed that Mary ascended into heaven, and when he showed me in the Bible that it's not in there, and there was a lot of things that as I studied the Bible with this missionary, that I was like, wow, you know what I mean? And that's when I realized I've been taught a lot of stuff that's not in the Bible,
Yeah, but in Matt L's defense, again, Matt L says, and I can tell that he's getting a little upset, and that's not my. So I will drop it. But I believe that the Catholics absolutely, if they believe in Jesus, they believe what he did, they believe that there was a need for him. As far as I'm concerned, that's enough for you, and the Holy Spirit who lives in you will help guide you. And I'm a big believer in whatever. As long as it's tough thing to say is if it builds your faith, and it's kind of like Romans 14, I guess, where I try and go with this is that if I think it's wrong, I'll keep it to myself. It's like Romans 14. But if I see somebody, because I have a lot of family on my wife's side who they're built up in their faith of Jesus through Catholicism. If that is going to help them, if that helps Matt L, then dude, keep going. Do it. The Holy Spirit will control, and if the Holy Spirit it doesn't convict you of anything, and you still love Jesus and you want to live for him and you're going to serve him, then man, do what you're going to do. And then I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and we can live together. And I don't want to cause you to stumble by spending too much time saying my problems with the Catholic religion, or I'd give you a fair chance, Matt, and you could say your problems with Lutheranism. But I'm sure Sister Sunshine could do that, because it's Lutheranism. The church I go to is basically Catholic light. We don't talk about Mary, and we don't kneel that much, which is, thank God for that. I don't need to kneel, but it's a very, very, we do what Luther did, and he was a Catholic priest until he nailed something to a door, right? So Matt L says, I'm not an extreme Catholic. I merely picked the Catholic Church 25 years ago when I got married. Yeah, I didn't pick it. I got married in the San Fernando Mission Church. It was awesome. Are you familiar with the San Fernando Mission Church, Sister Sunshine? Well, it's in I think Lucille Ball, and I think it might have been Henry Fonda, and Yours, Mine, and Ours, an old movie. If you see that movie, they got married at San Fernando Mission. And if you've never been to the San Fernando Mission, it's beautiful. If you're close by, because I don't live very far, I live within 10 miles of the San Fernando Mission, well, I'll buy you lunch. And Bob Hope is buried there with his wife. So, there's something to be seen there. So Matt L says, I will never bash any Christian-based religion if that's what a person chooses. Yeah, there's too much bashing that goes on, and it's really hard. when there's a lot of pointing fingers, and we like, and it comes back to this YouTube stuff too. So Sabella says, seriously, these are the best chicken fajitas. I'm really glad. Where did you get your chicken fajitas? And did I properly give you the wrench? I don't know if you're controlling it all. You do have authority to do whatever you want to do. And did I properly? It's loading up, and I heard myself fairly well, so that's a good thing. Bruce doesn't seem to have responded to me, so I don't know if he's going to come in. If somebody else, if you come late, hi, Cisco. If you come in late, I'm going to give you moderator status so you can do what you want to do. You send me an email at robertreed@gmail.com if you want to come in and chat, and I'm more than happy to bring you in within reason. If I think that you're a troll, sorry. You could come as you are, though, because I think the trolls is still one person in particular, and I'd be more than happy and blessed to have you in here as yourself, and we could have a nice little chat. But if you're not going to do that and you're just going to troll, and I'm not giving you a link. And I hate that word triggered. Matt says I'm not angry at triggered. The triggered word triggers me, right?
I'm offended that you're offended at the word triggered.
Exactly. But there's a lot of other things that I could offend people with, I'm sure. But I think we're okay in there. I know DB's in here, and I know I've offended DB a number of times. So I'm sure that if I stay on long enough, I'll end up offending him with something. Like, how about we could talk briefly, and I'm not going to stay too long, but the thing that's still in the news that's just killing me. And again, remember, I'm still a California liberal at heart, but the gender stuff, I have a major problem with. And
yes.
I can't get over that. I really, you want to know a YouTuber? I don't know if you've ever seen, I'll be politically correct, you've ever seen her, Blair White. Are you familiar with Blair White?
I've heard of her. Brett Keane mentioned her a few times, and so I did check out her, their
yeah,
channel.
Blair White is awesome, because Blair White was a he, is now a she, still has all the parts, but it turns out she's conservative. But that's not the part, that I like so much. I know it's the part you might like, certainly the part that Bruce would like. But what I like about her, she's real. Like because all this stuff is real logical. The binary is just the definition. I mean, if you say like, if you decide that you're going to call this a plate, you call it a plate. Wrong meaning to cup. It's a cup. And so the meaning of gender has always been male, female. There wasn't a spectrum or anything. It just is. You can't change what language means. You can, the idea that someone could more along the line. But by definition, gender will always be binary. There's always male and female, and we determine penis and vagina. It's nice and simple, and sometimes there's the exception if somebody has a birth defect of having both. And Blair White attitude, and she's gotten a lot of flack. You can imagine how much flack she's gotten from the community. If you haven't, and hopefully.
Oh, you done froze.
Check her out. It's right close.
Here we go.
So. Did I freeze it?
I watched her videos when it was in reference to that kid, that poor little kid. Desmond is amazing. That is being horribly exploited by his parents and being taken to dance in front of adult homosexual males. And that's the Blair White videos that I have seen were in relation to that, because that was one of my big things that I was not real happy with the way that our culture is going when they start letting kids do it. It's one thing if adult men, want to dress up as women behind closed doors and have their little clubs and engage in whatever they're engaging in. Um, what can you do, right? And it's America. It's America. They're free, right? They should be able to do that if they want, as long as they're not hurting anybody else. Whatever. But when you start dressing up kids and you start having the drag queen story times and all of this garbage, that's when I have issues with it. And I also have issues with a lot of the I predict that in a few years we're going to have a lot of these people that are children today that are going to come out, and it's going to turn out that their parents, their mothers in particular, I think it's going to be kind of like a Munchausen's by proxy situation where the mothers are going to be dressing their little boys up, for attention so that they can show how woke they are, or to get the financial returns, by having a little Desmond,
Well, I say that there's some members of my family, they're gay, and they have 3 children. It's 2 women, and it's the woke idea. They're one of their sons, for instance, walks around in a Wonder Woman outfit, and I'm thinking, I don't know how woke that is, because you're setting your kid up to be made fun of. And unfortunately, the world won't catch up to how woke you are, may never. Because so the idea of leaving sexuality decisions to a kid, they're not going to understand it. They don't know what it is. They don't know the difference between penis and vagina and what it does and how that all works. They just don't know. And so when we insert ourselves in that, their retort to that is like, I take my son to church, and he knows how to recite the Lord's Prayer, for instance. I've done the same thing, but I don't think it's exactly the same. I'm revealing to my son what I believe, and I'm raising him that way, but I'm not to the point where I'm saying, you can't think for yourself. It's always the course going to go where I go, but I'm not going to stuff. And so I'm not going to, my son who's 12 doesn't know about Lot and his daughters, for instance. And that's how we should make decisions. I am a fan of teaching children to respect all people and to not make fun of people and to not bully, and that people are different, because transgenderism will always be here. There will always be people, whatever you think, if it's genetic, it's a mental illness, whatever it is, it's going to be here. It always has. And I think that it's kind of like Sam's reaction to me, if you will, to make it relevant to what we're talking about today. They've been oppressed, or feel that they've been oppressed for so long, that it's almost like they go, we're going to fight back against society by going to the extreme and saying, yeah, it's cool if 7-year-old boys dress up like girls and dance for gay men at a gay pride parade. It's like they've taken it to, like, rein it in a little bit, come back in and make some sense.
See,
maybe
I think it's just flat out deviancy. I mean, I think there's people in there that are probably well-meaning, that are, some guy that wants to dress as a girl and maybe he got beat up a few times, and, and he feels that he's persecuted. But I think that the push between the sexualization of children, this whole drag queens telling stories at the library, these things I think are being pushed by people with a much, much more devious agenda. And there's woke people, and there's people that, the allies that they call them, that might be well-meaning in the context of today's, what well-meaning is nowadays. But at the same time, I think that there's there's people with some really devious negative intentions behind a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I'll agree with you, but I don't think people are that sinister. I'm naive in a lot of ways. I think it comes to people, especially the people that are leading these kind of charges of the ridiculous, like you describe, of kids dancing for the gay men at gay pride parades. It's just anger. and they know, like, now it's that we're freer in society. Now we're really going to push the envelope and piss the people off who made us hide for so long. And yeah, what's the answer to that? I don't know. Probably never, because it's the worst. It's been, you know,
I don't know. In what world is it normal, though? You know, in what world is it normal to have your kid, to encourage your kid and enable your kid to be a drag kid? I mean, that to me is so far. Maybe I'm just old, but to me, that's just something that's just not something a rational parent. I can never see a parent um, doing that. You know, I mean, I don't get it. It's something that is just beyond me, I guess, that I just feel, you know, I raised 3 kids. I've got grandkids now. And, you know, my grandsons, if they wanted to wear a dress or something, I would say, no, period. You're not doing that. You know, you're a boy.
Yeah, I don't, I understand where you're coming from. And it's, I just wish there was a proper answer to it all. And I think, well, the answer that a lot of people won't like, and this is what I believe, is that if everyone knew Jesus, then we wouldn't have issues. I honestly believe that. A lot of people would disagree with that. I think maybe some in the chat, but I think that's the problem with a lot of woes. The farther that society has tried to get away from God, the more heathenistic it is becoming in some ways. I mean, that being said, you know, my pastor has an attitude like, if we really look at the world, you know, God is still working and he's doing very good things. Because if we look at the past, talking about making America great again, all the racism that was there have been very big try to do better and to have more acceptance of people. But it's the pushing of the envelope on the other side to take so deep into our wickedness that that we're just in shambles. We're in a bad place right now. I didn't watch the Democratic debates, by the way. I just couldn't do it. Did you?
I saw part of it, but honestly, they're also nuts. That I just thought, you know, you know, I generally vote either independent or Republican, but I don't just vote always a straight ticket. I vote for what I think, you know, that I agree with the most. There's times where I agree with Democrats more than the Republicans on some issues. But to me, it's just so obviously pandering, you know, oh, we're going to give you all this free stuff. We're going to give you free stuff and we don't know how we're going to pay for it. You know, Medicare for all sounds great until you look at the status of socialized medicine in countries that have it. And you start seeing a lot of the drawbacks to it. And we don't have a homogenous society here. We're a much larger country than many European countries. And we, how, you know, I just don't think Medicare for all is going to work without some serious restrictions. And people aren't going to like those restrictions because you know, there are such things as in England, for example, there's postcode lotteries. They withhold treatment for cancers if you're above 65 to 70 years old in many cases. They can withdraw care from a child without the parents' consent. You know, people frequently, there's a whole separate network of private physicians. People have go private, you know, if they have to wait a year to get an MRI, they will go private and pay for it out of pocket. And so, you know, we would end up having a 2-tiered system here where the rich would continue to get great health care and the poor who are dependent on Medicare for all are going to get crap. And it's not going to change. How, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if people aren't, I mean, the thing for me is the idea of people getting bankrupt because of it. If we can avoid that, so it's funny because that was the big condemnation when I met my uncle for the first time, my English uncle, when I made my first trip to England, 1989. I was years old, and we would talk about America, and obviously, you know, I was with my brother. He was 17, and we're pro. All that, and he's like, I just can't understand how you could allow people to not die, to not receive medical treatment that they need and can't afford it. Is everybody going? Yeah. Hold on a second. Bye, Rox. Bye. Adios. Have a good weekend. So, and it's right. There's not a lot that you could say about that. I don't think that it's certainly not in bad shape. Um, Economically, other than the Brexit, I don't know much about that. But since we've had a national healthcare system, they even allow people. My father still he's a U.S. citizen now, but he went back and he had some problems. He has some issues with his insurance here, so he went to England. And I don't know how it went, but I know that he didn't spend any money. He went to England. He got some treatment on some stuff that he needed. They gave him medications, and he didn't pay anything. And it was, arguably he was an illegal alien getting treatment, right? In the national health system because he'd become a U.S. citizen. I don't think he volunteered that to them. Maybe he fibbed a little bit, and that's how he got it. But he got it, and I think that if and I'll say too, my mother at some point in time, she almost died in 2006, I think, and she had health care, but it lapsed. And fortunately, she had some money. But when we got a bill, she had a week-long stay in the ICU, and the bill came to me, and she handed it to me because she's crying. She's upset, obviously, because it had lapsed. And it was like for a week stay in the ICU, it was like $550,000. I was able to negotiate that and reduce it substantially, notwithstanding $550,000. So that's another problem that we have. And that if we were to have a Medicare for all, I think we would have to incorporate specified charges in the same way that insurance does, right? Insurance pays penny on the dollar. So we can use the model that already exists. Whatever insurance pays for stuff, that's what Medicare would pay for stuff. We've already got it established. And so the Obamacare stuff, they couldn't take it so far. Obamacare was pure capitalism in a bad way. It wasn't the socialism that people said. But I think we get a Medicare for all, I think it'll work very much like the school system. The school system, public school system's not very good. There are some places where it is. There's some places where it's bad. But in the end, if we were to decide, should we have a school system at all, or is a kind of poor school system satisfactory? Well, I'd rather have something. I'd rather have something than nothing.
See, I noticed, though, that Bernie put a real qualifier on it when he was talking about his, I'm the one that wrote it, but he kept saying basic healthcare, that all Americans are entitled to basic healthcare. So I noticed that he kept putting that in there. So I'm like, okay, well, what qualifies as basic? Are we just talking, your immunizations and or is it going to be kind of like the military where everything is a Motrin? Hydrate, drink a bottle of water and take 800 milligrams of Motrin and everything's going to be fine. If you want to look at how the government runs the VA and Indian Health Services, that's basic, Indian Health Services especially is very frightening. So, people kind of have this idea, I think, that if we get socialized medicine, if we get Medicare for all, that we're all going to get great healthcare. We're not going to get the healthcare that Congress has for themselves, because remember, Congress has exempted themselves from all of this. We are going to get long lines, huge delays for care. You think it's bad now. Wait till you go in. I mean, like the VA, where they basically sometimes try to outlast the people until they die. So I'm not sold. I'm not sold on universal health care. I don't like the system that we have now, but at the same time, it could be a lot worse.
I was the first year that Obamacare, I don't know if I ever talked to you about this, maybe I did, but the first year that Obamacare came out, I had health insurance through my wife. At that time, it was cheaper for us to go through her because she worked for an insurance company, so it was just better for us. But it was still a lot of money every month. For her, it was not. For me, it was like this big bill. And so when we saw Obamacare, I said, well, I'll give it a shot because it was going to undercut us. Obamacare, and this was without subsidies. We didn't qualify for subsidies, but even still, we were saving like $6,000 to $7,000. That being said, though, and I don't know what it's like now. This was 4 years ago, I guess, whenever it was first instituted. And I got this doctor in the Valley, Duck Lim, and he was not very good. He was not happy with Obamacare. No one knew how to do anything yet. And I remember the first thing he said to me, I sat down with him and he just goes, in his broken English, "What you want?" he said. And he found out I was Obamacare. I just said, I was like I told your nurse, I came here for physical. I just want to make sure everything's working okay. And then he told me no red meat, no alcohol. I said, well, that's going to be difficult. And then the problem that I told him that I had that I wanted to check, which is gout. It's not. I told people before that I have gout. He didn't even check for that. And I was like, so the type of care that you get, that was the thing. I mean, it was great to pay less money, but it was not great to get a doctor that was just woefully inadequate. And stages, more people that were jumping on the bandwagon participating in Obamacare, the same doctors who participate in the Medicare for indigents, which is also not very high. You know, there aren't that many facilities, so it'll get better if it becomes law and there's not this, and it's, I think if it's a Medicare for all as opposed to a taxation based system of requiring every buy their own. Sorry, a taxation system of everyone buying their own insurance is what I said. That's not a good system. That's Obamacare. If Medicare for all, for me, I think it would work out.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Medicare for all if it's paid for by some kind of tax that every single person has to pay, not based on your income and not coming out of your payroll. It's got to be something that every single person is paying. You know, I don't know. I mean, you know, like here in California, you know, you've got the gas tax, which is supposed to pay for our roads. So anybody that's using the roads, I guess, is supposed to be buying gas, and therefore they're paying into the roads that they use. It would have to be something like that, because otherwise, you're just going to get into the same thing that's happening in Europe right now, which is a lot of the healthcare dollars is just not sustainable. You know, you see that with IHS right now, with Indian Health Services. They always say, you know, don't go to the doctors around October, because that's when they run out of money. You know, in July, because they're halfway to October, which is the fiscal year. You know, and they're out of money, and so they're not going to treat you. So you know, I don't know. I think people always have these big expectations that the government is going to actually care, and the government's going to take care of you. And I don't think that's true. You know, I think it's going to come down to some bean counter somewhere. You look here in California, if people have Medi-Cal, good luck finding a doctor. And if you find one, he's probably a quack. I hate to say it, but a lot of the Medi-Cal doctors that take Medi-Cal, they're at the bottom of the barrel. You know, they're the bottom feeders. They're not necessarily the ones that are going to provide you with really competent care. So I just don't know how they're going to police it. I mean, the government can't take care of anything, it seems like. So how are they possibly going to manage something as large? Now, Obamacare, people had high hopes. But like in my daughter's case, because of her income, they said that she had to pay, her deductible was going to be like $12,000 a year. So she had to pay $12,000 out before her Obamacare would kick in. And then she had the amount of her payments was about 12. So basically what it came out to is she would be $25,000 out of pocket every year before that insurance would pay anything between her premiums and her deductible. It was ridiculous. You know, it was like, and it actually cost her money. She was better off before the Obamacare, you know, before the Obamacare came in.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say to you, I saw a couple comments in the chat, but I thought I didn't get to say your hair looks pretty cool. Did you get your hair done? Did you just cut it?
No, it's growing out. Actually, I'm growing it. And so it's at this weird growing out stage. And so I crimped it or whatever. And I actually had it styled last night. And this is the morning after, or the day after. So it looks a little crazy to me, but you know.
No, I think it looks great. It looks very cool. So it's interesting to me, like your transformation to me is very interesting, because when I first met you online here, you were hardcore apostolic, almost Amish-like, You dressed in a certain way of like was incredibly conservative, and then you went all punk rock on us and didn't know what you believed, and then you came back into the fold, and then you kind of are like an amalgam of those two things, right? Because you went back to the Apostolic
Yeah.
Church,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So, and is it the same church that you were in before
Yes.
when you did?
Different congregation because I live in a different area now, but same parent organization.
Because I remember, like, was it your Apostolic Church that told, like, where you felt convicted that you wouldn't wear makeup because you didn't wear
Right.
makeup before you first came on here, and
Right.
you wear makeup now, right?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay.
I do have some tattooing done because I have an autoimmune. That's why my face is kind of round and I look a little pasty. I actually have an illness that I've been battling here for a while. And one day I woke up and I didn't have a left eyebrow. It was just gone. For some
Really?
reason. Yeah, it's weird. I have weird stuff that happens. And so I didn't have an eyebrow. And I actually had lost some hair. And so I ended up going and having it tattooed back on so that, my eyebrows and stuff, so that when my eyebrows fall out and things like that, that it wouldn't be so obvious.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I take
Wow.
chemotherapy every
Are you
week.
sure your husband didn't shave it off in the middle of the night?
I don't know. No,
Bad
I
joke?
actually went and now I have a weird circular scar in the middle of this one because the doctor did a biopsy where they just take a punch, a hole puncher thing. So it looked kind of weird because I was walking around with a hole punched in my non-existent eyebrow. But yeah, because I take chemotherapy every week and I take a T-cell inhibitor every week, and so that I'm actually surprised that I actually am growing my hair. I'm actually surprised I still have hair, considering, because a lot of people when they go on that, they really don't have a lot of hair. So I'm blessed that I
is
still have a lot of hair.
Is it I mean, if you don't mind talking about it, you mind talking about it? People
No,
could pray for you. Uh, is it something that you have to take all the time? Like, I have a friend of mine who has to take kind of a thing all the time, but it's a heart blood related issue that's almost like chemo. Is it something you have to take basically to live daily?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Wow.
because the condition that I have, um, it's an autoimmune, and it affects. The reason I found out about it is I was having heart issues, and I went to the cardiologist, and I was having all these weird joint. I had some joint issues, and I was going to the podiatrist, and I was getting all this stuff, and they sent me to this doctor to get some kind of injections in my spine or whatever. And he said, this really isn't normal. He said, you're taking a lot of steroids, like prednisone type stuff, which is why you get the chipmunk cheeks. And he said, this isn't really normal. He says, most people, I give them a shot and I don't see them for 6 months to a year. They're pain-free and the inflammation goes away. He said, you're lasting about 3 weeks and then you're back in here. And he says, that's not really normal. He says, I'm going to send you to the rheumatologist. And so they sent me to the rheumatologist, and they did a bunch of tests and stuff, and they came back and they said, yeah, guess what? You've got this autoimmune condition. And it affects your tendons and your ligaments, but it also unfortunately affects all your connective tissue, which is the lining of your arteries, the lining of your heart, this kind of stuff. And that was why I was having some heart issues. I was having some really strange rhythm problems and some intractable high blood pressure. I had really high blood pressure, even though I wasn't taking any salt. I was eating a vegan diet. I was doing everything I was supposed to do, yet I was having some real issues. And all this stuff was a weird picture, and all these doctors were like, we know something's wrong. We just don't know what it is. And like I said, I was having weird stuff, like my eyebrow fell out overnight and things like that. And the rheumatologist finally figured it out. And so they started me on, I've tried a few different things. And they finally found this one that, like I said, that the chemotherapy, weekly chemo, which I take in pills. So it's not too bad. And then I have to do a self-injection every week. So, but, and that does hold it at bay, but I have to see her like every 4 to 6 weeks, because apparently what gets you with this is the heart disease. That's it. If you don't treat it, if you don't do something about it, eventually it'll damage your heart to the point that, you could have real problems, or die, from like a heart attack, I guess. I guess it would be kind of like a heart failure type or a heart attack type situation. So, and there's a lot of people walking around because I was so frustrated, you know, because I was working out every day. You know, I was always at the gym, swimming, doing whatever. Like I said, I had a very healthy diet. I was actually counting like milligrams of salt, you know, because I was thinking, why can't I get my blood pressure under control? Like, you know, what is the problem? And my cholesterol was like super, super high. And I would say, how is this humanly possible? I haven't eaten animal products for years. You know, how could I possibly have high cholesterol? And this cardiologist is like, I don't know, you know, genetics, you know, they blame everything on genetics. But it turns out I had this condition for years and didn't know it, had no idea.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that they figured it out, because I don't think we've talked since, and people might have known about it because you've talked about it before publicly, which is why I sort of brought it up. But I'm going to keep you in my prayers. I'll put you on the church prayer list too, if that's okay with you.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And,
I always appreciate it.
yeah, and hope that well, I'm proud, I'm happy, and praising God for the healing that He's already done in you, and hope that He'll continue doing that, and
Oh
that He
yeah,
will continue to do that to this community. It's
yes.
still, we're having some difficulties with a couple of people in the chat, but we're trying.
I think
We're
Bruce is there. Bruce is
Yeah,
there.
said, I think he's got to do something else. He might be eating dinner or something. I'm not sure. He said it about 4:50 or 4:45 if we run in a half hour. I'm not sure how much longer I'll be in here. But to reiterate, if you would like a link to join us, I'm going to put it in here. Email me at robertreed@gmail.com to join, and I'll send you one. Because I'll tell you, it's a lot easier right now, because usually I'm doing this with Bruce on his channel, and he puts in the regular side chat the link, and the stuff that you would see in private chat, I didn't want to see it, but I wanted to give the folks a taste of what we see. And the guys that are usually in the private chat are in the regular chat, and I bet you could pick out who it is.
You have an enormous Korean fan base. I want to say for a white guy, you are very popular amongst the Korean demographic. It's amazing.
Well, the thing is, and this is true, I said it before, my wife and I love all things South Korean. South Korea right now is putting out the best dramas.
I agree.
Yeah, truth. Do you watch them?
Yeah.
Do you watch any?
I've watched quite a bit because, you know, I lived in Asia for a number of years. So
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Do you speak?
No,
speak
I
Korean?
used to speak a little Japanese when I lived there, but now, you know, yeah. But my youngest was actually born in Japan, and
Wow,
yeah,
that's cool. I didn't.
yeah. I just went back a couple years ago. I went back for about a week. So, you know, yeah. So I'm with you. I watch a lot of Asian movies, Korean, Japanese, Thai. I'm a real fan.
Well, here I'm lagging. It looks like.
A little.
I'm not lagging.
But I
It
think
looks
they
like
have
you're
better.
frozen. I'm
I think they have
slowly.
better. There you go. I think they have better storylines. You know, the plots are better. I like it a lot. The South Korean, I think, is a little bit better than the Japanese lately. The Japanese cinema is a little gory at times.
Well, yeah, it's not only gory, but I mean, Japan is basically, from what I've seen there, they will go to our extremes. You know, the Western, everything's sort of trying to copy Western. South Korea is trying to copy Western, so they have some shows that are like 24 with some violence and with blood, but they're all brilliantly written, but not all of them, some of them. But South Korean stuff mostly is kind of milquetoast. It's kind of like 50s America, right? Where it's
Right.
like, oh, it's, you know, we're just going to hold hands. We don't do, you know, and the love stories are very, very innocent. Not all of them, but some of them. And I will recommend, if you have not seen it, and it's probably one of my favorite shows that I've ever seen, serial shows, really, and it's Korean. It's called Goblin, and it stars one of my favorite stars. Is he's a charismatic guy named Gong Yu. And the basis of the show, as long as you can get past, I don't think you may not have Harry Potter in your home. I don't know what your ideas are about that,
Yeah.
but it deals with a little of supernatural stuff. But if you can get past that, the supernatural stuff is that it starts with an old general from like 15th century Korea, and he's killed by his king that he serves because the king's jealous of him. I'm not giving away too much, and the general who's killed is somehow cursed for some reason. He ends up being cursed to live forever, really, until he can find his bride. And it ends up, so that's 1500s, and it comes to modern day where he meets this girl who may be his bride. But and the whole story, how that kind of goes, and it deals with the Grim Reaper, and it deals with the idea of God, but obviously in a much different way than we
Right.
view it. And if you get past that, it's brilliantly written. It's a nice love story, and it's the acting is impeccably done. The filmography is impeccably done, so it's worth it to check.
I just watched one. It was really good. It was a serial, and it's about a guy that's a baseball star, and his sister gets attacked, and he accidentally kills the gentleman. That he gets in a fight with this guy, and he accidentally kills him, and he goes to prison, and it's about his time in prison. And then he has to learn to pitch. He's a pitcher, and he has to learn to pitch with his other arm because and still navigate the prison environment. And it kind of goes, it's a redemption story, basically, and it goes all the way through his whole story. And it goes back, and he's finally redeemed, basically. But it's a cute one. I'm trying to think of what the name of it is. If I remember, I'll tell you. But
is it on Netflix? Maybe not
on Netflix or maybe Hulu.
Or Vicky? You get Vicky? My wife gets Vicky, and I've seen it. I think she started to watch it, and she wasn't that into it. But I will look into. So that was good.
Oh, it was real good. It was. We could spend a lot of
time. We could spend a lot because I've seen many. I forget some. And did you ever see things like The Coffee Prince?
No, I haven't seen that one.
You have to see The Coffee Prince. You should write these down. It's a really sweet love story. The Baker King. You see The Baker King?
No, I haven't seen that one. I watch a lot of their crime ones. The ones with the policemen. I watched one that was really cute. It had ghosts in it. How a lot of the South Korean ones have these ghosts, and it was this ghost that lives in the police department and tries to solve crimes. And
I love those. There's City Hunter, which was a very good one like that. There's Signal. I don't know if you've seen Signal. Signal involves, and there's another one called Tunnel. Those are all police crime dramas. Tunnel involves time travel as well as Signal. Signal's cool. You get the guy. Did you see Signal? It's the guy's on a radio, like the way they advertise it, and he ends up talking to the past to try and prevent a murder from the past. It's really, really awesome. And the Good Doctor Korean show. Bruce, I see you in the chat. I'll bring you in a sec because I figure you're not an expert on Korean drama. And The Good Doctor, you may have heard of, is a show out here,
right? But
it was based on an original serial drama in Korea, which was very good.
Yeah, very good. And I've told people that people see these shows here, and I'm like, you need to see the original. Whether it's a Japanese film or a South Korean film, I'm like, you got to see the original because it's they're so much better without all the gore and the jump scares. And you know what I mean? A lot of them they're much better at building the apprehension of what's going to happen, but I love the police procedurals. I like those. The South Korean ones are great just because their justice system is so different than ours.
Well, again, it's the vibe for me when I watch their justice system. I mean, the kind of the way it goes, they all feel kind of like Barney and Andy, there's just this down home kind of thing. It's good though. Really good stuff. So
Oh, there's
Vicky,
oh,
sorry.
there's a really good one. Oh, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's a guy. Basically, what it is there's this guy that is a killer. He's a murderer, and he's getting old, and he's got like dementia. He's starting to get dementia, and he has this daughter that he's really, really devoted to. And she meets this guy, and this guy seems great. He seems perfect, yada yada. But the old man, he recognizes this guy's bad. This guy is a killer. And but yet he has these weird times where, because of his dementia, that he's living in. So you get a lot of flashbacks, and you get a lot of and there's times
Oh
where
wow.
he doesn't know, and people think that he's losing it because he has this dementia, and so they blow him off, and then the guy catches on that the dad is on to him and knows that he's like himself. It's great. I'll message you, and I'll send you the links to these different ones,
We'll
because
do that.
it was good.
Now that I have another sister in Korean drama, I'm totally going to do that. Sabella says that's enough of that. So I'm presuming she probably booted somebody. And on that note, Mr. Bruce, how are you, sir?
Hope my mic's working. I don't know. Is my mic working? Working today?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes.
you.
Oh, it's working. Okay, you never know.
I'm like, so.
Yeah, I'm good, I think. I don't know.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm better. No, I've got a new leaf, Bruce. The new leaf. I don't know how much of this you watched. You probably didn't see the beginning, but I did some apologies. I said maybe like my approach wasn't good. Try and keep things private. I didn't say that I didn't lie about anything. Nothing I said was untruthful, but things could have been a little bit better handled. And I want to I get closer to drama free like this channel is. So on this channel, I'm more than happy to go to your channel, and we could, I'm sure there's gossip is going to happen here, but to the heathen channel, Blessed Bible Fight Club, I'll go. No, kidding, Bruce. But I'm just saying, like, we'll see what happens, but I'm going to do my best efforts to behave myself. I have not, I mentioned the trolls that are in the chat too much. I tried to ignore them. I think that I don't know if I gave you host access. I will do that. Moderator access.
Oh, I don't really care.
Well,
Well,
all
maybe
right.
nice, but I don't.
I'm going to boot your ass then. All right.
Yeah.
But anyway,
wait, you want to explain what that means there?
Boot your ass?
No, never mind. I don't even want to hear it. You know how you got on me when I said things that weren't quite right.
Is the word ass? I had just asked you this. Is the word ass in the Bible, Bruce?
Well,
Yes
you know,
no?
it's a funny thing. G-Man just asked me. Well, I offered, because he was looking for people to do a rap thing with, the rap battle, I guess he does.
Oh, nice. So
I agreed to do it. And Spell was in the chat. It took her a while to figure out who I was, but I'm like, okay, I'll do it, Now, the only thing that
Oh, you're doing the rap battle. Are you rap battling?
Well, I swear he said something about you better be African American or something. And I'm like, what in the world?
Can I say something? Maybe I will get involved. And like in two ways. One, if you need a beat, I can hook you up with a good beat. But two, I know we've talked about this before, and if not, then I will reveal it. My great grandfather was a mulatto, as they would say back then.
Yeah,
right?
that's in my family too. Same with me. It's really weird.
Hey, I've got black.
I was very surprised to find out. Yeah.
Does he require a DNA test?
Well, I mean, I am probably more black than I am American Indian. I mean, to be quite honest, that's on.
Well, that's a Democrat liberal joke.
No,
Very good.
People bust on me for that, but anyhow, that's the way it is. And so, but the thing is, so I think, I'm thinking of like, I was thinking of just starting off the thing like. you know, it's that kind of stuff. You know, I don't know. Something actually in time though would be different.
No, that was
You know?
no. Well, again, I was going to say something that wasn't good. That was going to totally defeat my new goal. So I'm not going to do that because I was going to reference somebody, and I'm not going to say it. But that's good. But the key to any like good rap song is obviously the beat, and it has to be a great bass line. More than
Well,
that,
yeah,
what
like
you're doing is like,
boom, boom. Oh, I was thinking what I'd really like to have. I'd like to have some big star glasses, you know, and play them a bass and do like a if I could, I can't play like them, but like do a Bootsy Collins imitation. You remember Bootsy?
right, exactly. Oh
You know,
yeah.
or like a Parliament kind of thing. You know, I'm just thinking that would be like cool. You know, that would.
Here's a hint. I didn't see it. You're gonna have to send me the link because I may get involved with that if there's a rap battle offer out there. But word of advice, and I'm not very good at giving advice, but this one I know is solid advice. No blackface.
No, I won't do that.
Don't do that.
Because it's natural for me. No, it is apparently. The mulatto thing, I do know about it. Oh, Hannibal and Monty offered me. I didn't see that. I have to go look at
Oh,
it.
sorry, no, I
Saw
didn't.
it fly by.
I was actually meaning to put up Matt's stuff. So just as an aside, Matt said that he saw the video with my son. Yeah, I'm hoping to do something. That was a part of my original conviction was I was hoping to do some more positive stuff there. And I promised my wife and I promised AJ, and we may do it on a different channel, but that we're going to start doing some podcasts and talk about baseball and baseball cards because my son and I are big on baseball and baseball cards. So we're going to be doing that. Look for more of those. And Matt says, I'm blessed to have such a great son. He's awesome. And for me, you know, he's just, he's a blessing from God and an answer to prayer. My wife and I, for those that don't know me that well, you know, this is all part of this. My wife and I had trouble having children of our own the regular way, and we became parents through the gift of adoption. And my son AJ is adopted. He knows, and he's very healthy. And we pray for his birth mom and his birth parents and all that stuff, his birth family. But it's a great example of. You know, when we talk about abortion, and then I look at my son whenever the issue comes up, and I think about the possibility that could have happened to him. So when you look at him, he was adopted. He had a birth mother who made the decision that she wasn't going to terminate her pregnancy, and that's what happened. And he's incredible. So I could toot his horn all day. We'll go back to stuff. Bruce does have black coffee face, says Matt L. So you got to be careful with that. Be careful. He also have ketchup face. You may not want to do that either.
You know, to be honest, I do feel kind of bad. I mean, it was pretty obvious. Like I was doing this skin stretching thing, and you know, this camera, I don't have any software on it, so I can't like change the lighting or brightness, anything at all, or flip flop it. And I was like, darn, it's like everything is backwards from a mirror, and I can't switch it. And so I was trying to shave, like looking in the thing, and I'm going like, man, that's just kind of feeling. I get around the chin, I'm like, forget this, you know. So I had the ketchup pack sitting there, and I finally figured, okay, I'll get in there and I'll squeeze that down there. And the worst part was I couldn't stop laughing, you know.
No, I knew right away. I knew like it was such a setup because I'm like, he could cut himself with that thing, but I go, he knows it. And then I think the title of your video is something like Blood, Sweat, and Tears. That's like, oh, he's about
Blood,
to do
sweat, guts, and tears or something. Yeah.
So anyway, here Francis Rood is in the chat. Hi, Francis. Francis gave some well wishes to you, Sister Sunshine, but she also said baseball cards. She has a large, she says connection, but I know she means collection. 30 years, all wrapped in box, mint condition. I'm an expert in few things, Francis, but one of the things I am an expert in is baseball cards. So if you're curious about the value or what you have, the problem is that cards that were after 1985, for the most part, there's a junk era between 85 and some would argue even to the present day. Unfortunately, the value is in stuff that's before 1980, really. And I have a good collection of stuff. That's what I primarily collect now. I try and get a lot of vintage stuff, and vintage stuff is considered pre-1980. Well, but that's what I'd love to talk to Francis about baseball cards. We
Are
found
there
something that
some, though, occasionally there's some though, or I should ask, are there some though that are just happen to be very rare and desirable that were made in later years?
Oh yeah, I mean, to give you an example, and this is ridiculous, and some people don't know. Some of the players don't know baseball, so I'm going to try not to bore you if you don't. But a guy by the name of Mike Trout, he's kind of a household name right now. If you know anything about baseball, plays for the Angels, and his rookie card came out in 2011, and there are many of them. What they do now is they grade them. Actually, I have one here. This is a basketball card. Give you a sample, because this one I'm trying to sell. This is a basketball card, and you see how it's in plastic and it's graded. There's an MNT8. That's an 8. So this is graded a near mint, is what that stands for. 8 out of 10. 10 is the maximum. 10 would be gem mint. And those are but there are a lot of gem mint 2011. Tops is the brand, Mike Trout's. Ton of them. And I had the wherewithal to buy 2 of them within the last couple of years for about 125 each. And in the last 5 years, and this is an 8-year card, if you looked on eBay now, you'll see that they're going for as much as $1,200. And it's a little crazy. It's just it's a sign of the economy, and it's also a sign that the economy is probably ready to explode because people are spending their extra money on some
Wait a second. Is Francis gone yet?
No, I think she said night all. She stopped to say hi.
If she's still here, say hi, like in the comment section if you didn't leave yet.
Well, we'll wait for her. But Matt asked, do you have any Sammy Sosa cards? I do. Unfortunately, he was the steroid stuff kind of got to him, so they're not worth a heck of a lot. You can get a gem mint Sammy Sosa rookie card. If that's 1990, probably definitely under $40, I would say. So,
poor Sammy Sosa. He bleached his skin, and he looks so strange now. It's it's unfortunate. I was watching the Vice channel on YouTube. I was watching one of their documentaries about people that are in other countries that bleach their skin because it's like part of their, part of what they think is beauty, and it's pushed by a lot of companies, and some of that stuff is pretty dangerous. But boy, he looks very bad. Sammy Sosa has lost the plot.
What?
Yeah, it's a tough thing. I mean, it must have been. He was a really sweet man, and he got involved with steroids. He was one of the most beloved baseball players in the league in 1998, and then he was found out to have participated in steroids, like Mark McGwire at that time.
Yeah,
and it really messed. Really messed with his head, probably, and then it's come out. Maybe he had vitiligo, like Michael Jackson. I don't know, but
I do want to ask something though. But what is the obsession with like basketball, baseball, softball, soccer? I mean, the shape, right? Nobody cares much at all about frisbee, or hockey. Hockey kind of, but it's still not the same like a frisbee. I mean, if you think about the shape, there's like, I think it's something like NASA, and maybe even before, they've worked to get people's minds fixated on globe-shaped items, items.
What's he getting at with the globe-shaped stuff? It's not flat
That's
versus
the whole
globe?
point with the frisbee. Nobody cares about a frisbee. We did for a while. We almost were enlightened, and then people just forgot about it.
Well, it's a vast globalist agenda.
Exactly.
That's my point. So
exactly right, because if you think badminton is also not very popular. If you think about it, that little bird thing they use is almost like the dome over the flat Earth, and so that's probably why. And the rubber stop on top of the badminton thing is like God. And it's a government agenda to stop the true knowledge of the flat Earth. All right, thank you. See, we could do that.
No,
because I'm not
weird.
Hold
on a second. Right? Do you see who's in here though? John Tongue and Mimi Bruce.
Yeah, I like to give him attention. Also, Mimi Bruce. Those are.
You realize how old
those are 2 socks that we know who that is.
Yeah, like how many years ago are we talking
Really old.
on those? Yeah, they go back, man. That's funny.
Yeah, Mimi Bruce back in the days of Mimica. Do you remember? I love Mimica.
Absolutely, because they were fighting or something or whatever, I guess. And
Mimica was a
That name
crude dude.
Mimica sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was a very crude British guy, for those who don't know, and he would wear the anonymous mask. One of
I
the
thought he was funny though.
no one knew who he was. I still, if I passed him on the street, I wouldn't know. If he talked, although he had just a typical Cockney accent, it was pretty thick, and he was a young kid. But man, he was fun. I liked him a lot. I had some communication with him in private. He was an atheist, and he didn't like some of the same people that we didn't like. That's probably why we got along. He didn't like the guy in the subject line of this video. He didn't like him all that much. So I'm not going to make a comment as to whether or not that's
Good or bad.
because I'm going to try and keep drama away.
I think that is a very respectable thing. I do think though that gosh, I don't know. I mean, I'm worried, but no, I guess it's a good thing. I have to give Sister Sunshine. I feel kind of bad because the other night you were in that hangout. I think you were in the hangout right when I totally snapped out, and you were listening. No, you weren't. I don't know if you were, but Jesus Freak though. We did talk though afterwards. That was the cool part. That's
good.
Like we didn't agree. That I know of. At least I wasn't going to back down, but when he wasn't going to back down. I don't know. The point is that, but we still ended up talking a bit afterwards. And I respected that about him. Is that he didn't stay that way, or I didn't stay that way. Like it was kind of like we actually could. Anyhow, yeah, I respect that. I apologize. You were there though while I was snapping out.
Oh, that's okay. Jesus Freak is pretty good people. I really enjoy chatting with him. He's always got pretty good insight on things.
Well, except that night, but no, wait, well, I'm not used to people yelling at me either. I'm definitely never. It's been a first for me. Anyhow,
Matt,
I do apologize.
Oh, no worries. Right. You don't owe me an apology.
And to everyone in here, Bruce apologizes to you, except. I'll stop there. Matt L., how have the Tony Gwynn cards held their value, Rob? Incredibly good. So that's some of the cards I've invested in are Tony Gwynn rookie cards, 1983. And if you get a Gem Mint 10 1983 Tony Gwynn card, probably about $650. It's a good card. But then to think about Mike Trout, there's a lot more of those cards, and he's barely played, and he's not in the Hall of Fame like Tony Gwynn. It's double, so really strange.
I like Trout. I'm an Angels fan. I was there one day when his family was there, and it was kind of cool to see his family rooting for him.
He's a good guy. What I love is when you see one of these guys that has all the reason in the world to have an inflated ego, especially the ones that are young. And I'll tell you, I've encountered not a lot, but a decent number of baseball players in my lifetime, whether it was in high school or particularly college, because I used to have a couple baseball players, and I was an RA, resident advisor in a dorm. I was in charge of a hall, and there were a couple baseball players on there, and they gave me the biggest trouble. There are a lot of jerks that are in baseball. And I understand why, because it's so difficult to play that I think and you fail all the time. So the only way to get through, it's kind of like being a Christian. The only way to get through is to really try and, act a little bit cocky, like we see a lot on YouTube, right? It's because that's why I love it for my kid. He's big on baseball, teaches him how to handle failure and stuff. But somebody like Mike Trout, who he's succeeding, but he's a sweet man. I think he's a Christian. He makes a ton of money, but he does stuff for the community, and it's not just because he gets a tax exemption. He's just a good overall guy, and so it's always good to see a good guy who did well.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I was a little sad. about the other one here that they found dead. I can't
Oh,
think
yeah.
of his name right now, but he was kind of up and coming, you know, and doing very well. And but then it came out that he'd had a bunch of surgeries. You know, that's the thing. These pitchers that, you know, they I mean, I know kids today, they do the throw counts and all that kind of stuff, but he'd had a bunch of surgeries and things, and, you know, and already, I mean, he had just made the big league, you know.
It was Tyler Skaggs, and he, you heard how he died?
Yeah.
The opioid crisis, fentanyl.
Yep.
He was drinking, and he had fentanyl, ton of fentanyl in his system.
Well,
So
I want to know what it comes out, because his family, I guess they're doing some kind of investigation, because they're saying somebody associated with the club is where he got the
wow.
fentanyl. And he may not have known it was fentanyl, you know, because that's the thing. There's all this stuff that it's being made by people in their garage with pill presses that they get on, you know, the internet, on Amazon or whatnot. You know, and so they think they might be thinking that they're getting an oxy, or they think they're getting a Vicodin, when in fact they're getting something with fentanyl. And some of them now have the one it's beyond fentanyl,
Holy heck.
whatever it is, carfentanil. That's the elephant. It's the elephant one that tranquilizes elephants.
Wait a minute. I was making pepperoni beef jerky tomorrow, right? And I put fennel seed in there. I crushed up and put that in there with that. Is that bad?
Did you feel high? I don't think that's an opioid. Like, I don't think it qualifies. I'd say you're probably safe.
I didn't put the poppies in.
Yeah, leave the poppies out, and I think you'll be okay.
Not
a forerunner story is here.
Fennel seeds. Is that what they're called? They kind of taste like anisette, but not quite.
Kind of like licorice. Yeah, it tastes like licorice.
Yeah,
which I hate.
Really?
I hate licorice.
Me too. I like licorice.
Black licorice.
All right.
Like Uno, Greek wine, can't stand.
Oh, I don't like the dang little cookies and stuff, but how in the world are you going to have pepperoni if it doesn't taste like pepperoni? And if you're going to make beef jerky to taste like pepperoni, the only other choice would be salami. But I'm not.
Every Christmas I make
beef jerky.
I make anise cookies at Christmas.
Yeah.
And they're actually really good. But if you don't like black licorice, you may not like them.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Well, for me, I've learned to love it and hate it. The good thing about it is that, like, if you go somewhere, and except if you're on a diet, you can always count that if somebody makes you're going to slap me on this one, Rob. But you can kind of count that if there's a plate full of those cookies, you're going to have a chance to get some. I mean, really? They're not all going to disappear like right away.
Oh, I make so many cookies at Christmas.
I like them.
So many cookies at Christmas. Hundreds and hundreds of them I make at Christmas.
I love cookies so much that some people call me fatty. So E.B. Cisco says the only street drug that was never faked was blotter and window pane.
I don't know what window pane is. Blotter is LSD. I have no idea what window pane is.
It's probably something that you huff, I'm guessing.
No,
but I said Everclear too. This is horrible, but I mean, I'm going to say it because this is the terrible thing about Everclear. She was a freshman and I was a freshman, and this isn't a crazy story, but this girl had she was so messed up, and she had just a little bit of Everclear that she nearly died, had to be taken to the hospital. We had to carry her out, get her to her mom, and it was ugly. So Everclear is something that people should stay away from, especially 18-year-olds. 18-year-olds are stupid.
Oh, boy. Stupid. When we were in high school, we used to get, because the state that I lived in, Everclear was legal, and they would get a big metal trash can, or big plastic trash can, fill it with ice, and then remember those bottles of the high C? It was like the syrup. It was super concentrated. They would pour that in there, fill it with, take a garden hose or whatever, right? Fill it up, throw some fruit in there, and then bottles of Everclear, and they called it like jungle juice or whatever, and it probably made a lot of people sick.
What was Everclear? What is?
It's just pure grain alcohol.
Oh,
what's the proof? The biggest proof you can get.
I remember
because it's not legal everywhere. Some states it's illegal.
Yeah,
Is it legal in California? Because people were able to buy it when I was
don't know.
30 years ago. It must have been,
I
because I
went
think
to
they
a
were selling
party
it.
one time, and these guys made swamp water where they mixed up like a Kool-Aid drink, real thick and heavy. And I remember I went in there, and it was actually I was a bad scene in a way, because it was like a 16-ounce glass, and I filled it halfway with the booze stuff. And these guys were going, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" All these, and put their other swamp stuff in it, and drank it. Made another one and drank it. That was not good.
Yeah, I like something Bruce the Almighty said.
Well, that
Jesus,
plus I was
King of
drinking
Kings.
beer before I got there, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
all kind of combined.
Bruce the Almighty says Jesus of the King is the King of Kings. Preach Jesus. Amen. Jesus is Lord. He's the way. He's the truth. Is the life, and no one comes to the Father except through him. Thank you for that. That's good and positive, Bruce the Almighty. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I gave you some attention. Hopefully you feel good about that.
Actually, he says, and Jesus loves Brucey too. Well, you are thinking different, Brucey Almighty, when you consider that the other guy says that he doesn't love God haters, and if you're a reprobate, you ain't coming back.
Well,
It's kind
people
of strange
say
thinking. I think somebody's being dishonest here.
I don't
people say
know.
stuff when they're mad.
I do appreciate seeing things like that for other people, but
You know,
Yeah,
there's
no, I
there's
agree.
people though that I've known that to look at them outwardly, you would say they're reprobate. You know what I mean? They're so far gone, like they'll never come back. And I've seen people come back. You know, I've seen people go way out there before they turn around. You know, some people, I mean, what is it that they say about like drugs and alcohol, right? People have to kind of hit a rock bottom before they can stop, you know, doing whatever they're doing. And I think there's people out there, some people have, you know, are more stubborn or whatever than others. And I've seen some people go way out where people just wrote them off like, oh, there's no way they're never coming back to church, you know, or they can never get saved, you know, or whatever. And they have. So never
Yeah,
say
well,
never.
I had hope, but when you became punk rock girl, I thought, wow, it was interesting to
wait,
all of a sudden talk with you and that
I do
in
want.
that capacity. When you were a part of that group, you know, you were let into the Yoke Up group. You were acceptable for them,
Wait,
as I wasn't. And man, I'm sure thankful they weren't around. They probably would have pushed you out for a little bit longer with all the knucklehead reviews that you would have gotten. All right, enough of the about
one
that.
quick question.
Yes.
I would like a wrench, not so that like I can like kick people or anything, but so that I can see the nasty comments when they get deleted. Because
I want to do that. I'm not even in the chat right now because I'm trying to keep my bandwidth together.
Oh. Well, I don't want.
No, but I'm going to go in there. If I lag now, everyone has left the office, so it's a little bit better. What I want to do, you know, not the 5G that's been recommended to me, but I have like a 100, maybe 200-foot Ethernet cable that I probably could pull from way over and then put it up at the top and trail it over. But
That's what you want to do.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
that,
and then
I don't really know much about 5G to be honest or anything. I guess 3G is okay, but you know, I've it always seemed to me to have make sure that your operating system's really clean and everything's really working well. And a direct cable, it just seems fast, you know.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a huge believer. I mean, I don't know much about 5G, but who has 5G? I mean, offices don't have 5G. I don't know.
Well, the other thing is too, where the modem's set in relation to where you're at, that you have a straight shot, and how many walls you gone through, all the doors, what have you. That stuff all adds up too, you know.
I gotta find you. Post something in the chat so
Okay.
I can.
All right.
Yeah, my desktop.
I'll give you.
I have that one. You know, with a cable, so that way, like, I can download when I do videos, I can upload them. You know, that kind of thing. My laptop that I'm using right now, that's on the Wi-Fi, and it's not as dependable. I'm not as impressed with Wi-Fi as, you know, for my home computer, for my desktop. I have it all hardwired in because Wi-Fi is too undependable.
It has to be. I tried to do, you know, all the craze is Twitch and broadcasting video games and stuff, and I want to do some of that. It'd be kind of fun. Do it with my son, especially if we do the podcasting we're talking about. But with Wi-Fi, just cannot do it. There's just too much load. and
Right.
you can't. And when I hardwired everything, it was perfection. So that's what I'm going to have to do. The hard part is our house is 2-story. And so I got the bright idea. I bought the equipment to do everything. Just like I was so excited because YouTube has everything, you teaches you to do stuff. So I bought this oscillating saw. Bruce is going to know some of this, where I could make my own outlet box and stuff. And then I realized with the second story, I think I got to drill between stories or something to be able to get. I go, I'm way over my head now.
My hubby and my son do a lot of that for their job because they work in the low voltage and electrician field, and so they pull cable all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, really, that generally speaking, here's all you need to do, right? You get a big drill bit, and you just start drilling. You start drilling. You go
just drill right through.
It's like working with teeth or something. You just keep going until you get where you need to go. And
or cutting your own hair. It's not quite cutting your own hair. It's not quite like that because you can't. Drilled holes don't grow back. Your hair looks great, but a hole,
a little spackle. You just need a little spackle, Rob. Just drill it random.
Look, that's why you have plaster Paris. You have that mud crap that you smear around the walls. That's how you fix all that stuff.
Just put a rug over the hole in the floor. Nobody will notice.
Yeah, that's right, on the floor. Or you can just take a knife and cut the carpet first, pull it away, drill a few holes through there, and see if it gets through anything. Have somebody shoot a flashlight up from the house next door or something. Eventually you'll get there.
Or just go right through the stucco. Why even don't mess with your floor? Just go right through the wall. Just run it right outside.
Yeah. Well, I thought about that too, but maybe I'll do that, but I think I'd rather, I'm going to call a guy to do it right and figure out exactly how to get it. That'll be the way to go.
It is kind of, it can be a pain sometimes.
I bought one of those weights, like the roller magnets. I was set. I was so excited. My wife, of course, because I got on Amazon, it comes in. She goes, "What did you get?" And I showed it to her, and she just rolled her eyes. And she knew. She goes, "You just wasted a ton of money," and she was right. Foreigner story says, "I have an amazing praise report though. A friend, he talked about something related to a kidnap. I don't know anything about that. And sold into sex trafficking. Unfortunately, most of the girls were killed, but she was given back. There was a lot of prayer that went out. That's great testimony. I feel sad for the ones that lost their lives though, but it's good that I guess it was your friend. I'm glad that your friend is okay. Good news.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting a lot of socks still. Can't imagine who that is.
The energy. How do you have the energy to maintain that many accounts? How do you remember all the usernames and passwords and just that's dedication. That kind of stuff is dedication.
It really is, and that's why I really can't. All these people, I had 174 subscribers, and I'd be lucky in a live hangout to get 2 people. That would be a great hangout. Right now, it's good just because I put out the call, but and Bruce did for me. Thank you. But it's amazing how these people found this chat. These randos that don't have anything to do with all of the drama that's been going on. Don't confirm it. It's best to. I told him I wasn't going to give him attention. I did. It's just silly, but I'm very glad to hear, David, that that situation worked out well, and I pray for the families that where it didn't. So right. I don't know if those people are local to do it well, or if they're just girls. I don't feel like talking about it. Make me sad.
So I wonder. I heard the 5G is going to microwave us all. That's I don't know. I don't know much about it, but I heard that it's going to cook us like we were in a big microwave.
I mean, and it can't. In 5G to me. Where it is in California, I don't even think that 5G is available yet, but I don't know. Do you know if 5G is available? Is it available where you are already?
No, I don't think so. I heard they're putting up the boxes for it, but who knows?
Yeah, Brett said this is what I wanted to do. You could take Cat 5 wire that's already run. Oh, that's already run in your house, dude. Don't. I'm not touching anything that exists because I don't want to die. The idea, the idea was to take non-power filled Ethernet cord and figure out a way to get that. I got the plates. I got everything the guy needs. I'm just gonna have to. I went up to my attic. And it was hot as heck because this was summer, right? And the worst part about it is, when they hammer in your roof tiles and stuff, they don't care what's there. So I'm there, like feeling a nail go across my head. I'm not wearing a hard hat. I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself. That was the moment when I felt one go. I'm gonna kill myself. So I'm just gonna. I did everything. I had that magnet thing at the end of the Ethernet cable, and I tied it with electrical tape. I saw it on the YouTube video. I was ready to go, and then I realized, how am I? Once I do that, well, the first problem I had is I couldn't find the right hole. Like, I figured it'd be nice if the holes corresponded with the outlet, in the roof. So yeah, I know I got an outlet about right here. And so I go out right there, and there's no hole. I'm like, where is it, man? And then the only hole I found was like way on the other side. So it wasn't very user friendly, if you will. And so I thought, I'll have to drill another hole and then go through. And my wife is going to kill me if I use the saw and I put a hole in and I can't fix it. And so I sat down in the midst of the heat of my attic and said, this is not meant for me. But it is. I feel like a bigger man because I own that magnet thing, and I own an oscillating saw, and I never did before. My father didn't, so I'm a man. If somebody asks, "Hey, I need an oscillating saw. Do you have one?" I go, "Oh, yeah, I do. Let me pull one out of my garage." But I've got that, and I used it because we're painting the fence in the backyard, so I used it as a sander. I felt like such a man doing that.
Oh, jeez.
But absent that.
That reminds me, when my son was first starting out in the trade, he was doing because there's a 3-year apprenticeship, that you have to do. One of the very first jobs that he was turned loose on his own to do was supposed to be a real simple, running up, pulling some cable up in the attic, Bonehead doesn't step on one of the 2x4s, steps between them. And my son is a big guy, fell right through their ceiling.
Oh. Did he break anything? You can laugh about it now.
No, he luckily he didn't, but he destroyed this poor lady's ceiling. Got in trouble from his boss.
I can't imagine. Can you imagine if the guy comes to do my job and he breaks through my ceiling? Yeah, I'm not going to be a good attitude.
Yeah, big 6 foot tall, 200 and something pound dude. And boom, right through the ceiling, man. Just fell right through the right through the drywalled ceiling, right through the insulation there,
Yeah, old regular farting doctor says this is some great farting going on here from the accuser sympathizers, though we need more doxing farts. Bill, what we're trying to do here is, gosh, it's 2 in the morning right now, but it is a Friday night. I'm hoping you have a suitable libation. I imagine you do. But Bill, the goal here is to try and stop the drama. And if you think that there's too much drama involved with the people here, do yourself a favor and don't cause yourself to stumble. All right, you're the guy, because Bill, I like you, and but we just don't need you here if you're going to be drama queen. Okay, we're trying to change that a bit. If you want drama, you know where you can go. All right, thanks, Bill. So back to
I didn't think it was right for someone to go to hell like that. No, that wasn't nice.
No.
But you know where you can go. Well, what you mean by that?
Please do me a favor. I want 2 versions of your rap.
What?
Hopefully you can still hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
2 versions of your rap, okay?
Well, the problem
one version
I
regular.
like rap. I've never liked rap. I still don't like rap. I'm never gonna like.
Hold on.
Rap and punk are like. I mean, what is the difference? I mean, okay, I'm not after
No.
little mulatto, so I am. But nevertheless, we have rap over here and punk over here destroying both. I mean, the whole dang world.
What is the rap battle about? Like, what's the backstory here? Why is G-Man putting out for a rap battle?
Well, here's the big thing I do know about it, and this much I know. He wants to make sure that there's no cussing in it. But I was thinking I could probably read the Bible and find words like bastard and ass and things like that. Although I think that might be wrong, a bad idea.
No, don't do that. You can. I think it'd be cool. Like you make up your own bad words, like we did with sock. Remember, like we used that, something like that. You make up your own bad words, and then no one knows. They're like, "What's he saying?" Or you use Christian, like I don't know what you're gonna do. But
No,
what the recommendation? I didn't get to finish my point. The recommendation I wanted to give you was do one version regular. Do your best. I'm about to sneeze though. The second one, do it as the Sling Blade. Do it as Carl. So I want you to rap. Because there's so many things that rhyme with tater. Yeah. So that would be great, but you have to enunciate very well. The enunciation.
He's always looking for the women, and he's bad. I don't know. I have to work on it. No,
Sounds so good. Right there, you had a great meter. It sounded good. That is how it's going to work. Oh, Matt's telling me right now. See, sorry, that was Sabella, but Matt said you need a long drill bit, 20 inches. See, I didn't have that. I knew. Yeah. Here's Matt L says, I reckon French fried taters
ain't gonna be no daggone rap battle.
Yeah, my husband has all our bar Ethernet and everything run through the closet. The master bedroom has a closet. It has a big panel in there. Everything is run through there.
I think you're living in the closet. Yeah. I think you're living in the closet. I'm sorry. No, I won't do that.
You got to be careful when you do this. Is there a video that G-Man did where he put out the challenge?
Pieces. I'll put it on my other channel. I forget the name of my other channel. What the heck did I call that? Something about hell for fakes. Yeah, I think that's the name of it.
Right.
Yeah, well, you'll have to make sure to post it when you make your video, because I don't follow G-Man too much. I think I'm subscribed to him, but he's always involved in drama with Shani and Dreadnought or Dragnaught or whatever his name is. So so I don't know anything about those backstories. So I don't understand most of what he's talking about.
I think when what I did was when I created the channel a number of days ago, I just started clicking on a few things, and I had to go. And it's the first G-Man video I've seen in quite a while. And he was going on about this rap battle. And I thought, well, heck, he doesn't know who I am, so I'll just go ahead and offer it, and then he went with it, and I'm like, heck, yeah, I guess I'll do that, Why not?
You have to, and your profile picture is going to be Carl, right? That's the guy's name, Sling Blade, and you've got to do it as Sling Blade.
I don't know if I could rap like that and keep that.
You just did. It was perfection. It was really good. What you were just saying on the fly had a great beat and a great meter, and you should do it like that. Guaranteed it's going to work.
The guys are blade.
You just got to write it out ahead of time.
Wait, now I'm starting to do I see I can't keep that because the next thing you know, it'll start. I'll fall into, I don't know that I do it well, but it's because maybe it's natural. I want to be like Red Fox, I want to be, because that was my favorite TV show as a kid,
Oh, Sanford and Son?
Yeah. I always try to pat after that,
So you could, then you know what? You just came up with your beat too. You could parody that. And you sing
it in there and stuff, and there's some weird.
You don't need that. You can do it with the guitar.
Yeah.
Do it with the guitar. And then you do the Bootsy Collins little riffs, and then you get a little good bass line going, and then you Sling Blade it. You write your lyrics.
I got this old sampler sitting back here, this old digital sampler that it's like 8-bit companion. Maybe it's even 12 or 16-bit, but they're known to be grungy. that was something like the old rapper dudes used, like the old ASRX Akai, or I'm sorry, in Sonic sampler. It was a lot of rappers still that are into that. I don't know. It's kind of weird when people want cheesy digital distortion, but that's what they've used, a lot of them, for years. Like, I kind of like the bigger sounds. How about timpani drums? I guess
No,
timpani
stick in the pocket. Like, what was that? What's that keyboard drum?
It's supposed to distort and garbage, you know, and I don't know.
There's a keyboard or something. I can't remember what it is, but one of my favorite rap art DJs back in the day, yeah, an 808 that had that little funky drum thing.
808.
Egyptian Lover.
Oh, I know what oh, no, you're
An
thinking
808. You know what that is?
the old Roland. I think Roland made the drums. They were the 808. Wasn't that a drum module?
It's a drum thing, yeah. Egyptian Lover was one of my favorite guys in the 80s. I know.
I was just thinking about Egyptian Lover. I was just going to say that.
Sister Sunshine and I are the same age, I'm pretty sure. So, and we have very similar musical tastes, although she was more grungy, Husker Du, housey than I was. I was Depeche
big
Mode.
analog sounds, though, you're talking about, but there was something about the ASRX that some of these rappers for some reason liked. Maybe because I think there might be some analog processing in it. I thought it was all digital. At any rate, it's weird to me that that's.
I figured Egyptian Lover.
I should
Houdini. Houdini was another one.
5 Minutes of Funk and Friends. This was our high school football thing. How many of us have them? We went
Friends.
Okay. My idea.
Before we go any further, let's be friends.
Yeah,
and
you got me no.
You don't know this stuff.
I like.
You don't know come out at night.
Yeah, I like real heavy kind of dark country lately. Something that I've been into, but there's also I have an interest in this kind of rhythm and blues thing. I like that, you know. Yeah, I know. I cut the mullet off. Sorry. Yeah,
you know, Egyptian Lover was just at the 80s Club.
I knew it wasn't going to fly
in the Inland Empire.
Oh, wow.
What's that? What?
She was just at the 80s Club at the Inland Empire. I should have gotten an invite. But here you're going to get a taste and flavor of the 808 if I don't lag.
Okay.
Are you ready? Here we go. Let's see if I can. Oh, please don't lag.
I probably have some 808
This
drums.
is me, 9th grade.
Find them.
Hold on. Come on, baby. There's the 808. That little.
Yeah. I couldn't hear any bass coming through the mic, you know.
Makes you want to pop and lock.
They were
Hear that? It's like that little click.
They were cool. They were smooth. But I think it was smooth. If I remember.
Oh, they sound fake. You know, unfortunately, I'm Facebook friends with the Egyptian Lover, believe it or not, because he's not that big anymore. So I was able, and he put out another record, and it sounds exactly the same, and it's tired and old.
I wanted to go see him, but I couldn't talk my husband into going.
Your husband, based on the car he drives, I think that the Egyptian Lover is probably not up his alley.
Yeah, not his thing. I wanted to go so bad.
If you said something like Leonard Skinner, he might be down. Or is he a husband?
I'm going to see Iron Maiden tomorrow because he wants to see Iron Maiden. Mm-hmm.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
The TR-808. That's the one you're thinking about, right?
What is it called?
TR-808.
It's just called an 808. I've heard it.
Sizzling sound. Sizzling. See, I always thought it was probably big and fat. I don't know. Maybe I get confused with synthesizers. See, to be honest, I never liked that sound. I had some old analog drums way years ago, and and they had that kind of sound. That big. I don't know. They never sounded like drums. And then you got into all the sample playback stuff. Which. It's.
Roland confirmed it, but I only have heard it as the 808. That's what Egyptian Lover popularized it.
That's
my day.
I say you go old school, Bruce.
What?
You go old school. You got to have the wicka, wicka, wicka.
Well, yeah, but I'm so old school that I like the sound of, like on a bass drum, I like the sound of real kind of loose heads, and a lot of the drums to be real tuned, real open with not a whole lot of dampening or anything. That they kind of ring out like you'd hear like an old big band and jazz kind
Yeah,
of.
but it's a rap battle,
Yeah, I know. I hate rap. You know.
and you got to get yourself an Adidas tracksuit.
No, thank you, man. I'll wear like I think
That Kangol hat.
Rebellion. I'll wear a flannel shirt or something, you know, and my MAGA hat.
No,
Hey, that
Kang-
whoa, there you go. That could fly with it. And
Wear that one.
yeah, this would be G-Man approved. I think he'd like it. I think it could fly.
Kanye approved, so you could see there's a well-known rapper who would be very glad to wear that hat. Who has? So there.
That's true. I think I need some shades though. I mean, these won't work, but I'm just trying to get an idea. Like, well, I think the last time we did a picture, I just put some tape inside of these. That kind of, then I can't see nothing.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, it's apparently
Just-
cool.
my-
And meet the core you are, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty
Yeah,
good.
you can't. If you wear any glasses, it'll have to be thick sunglasses.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's not.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know
not
about
gonna.
the hat though. I'm not sure if the hat would be good or bad. I don't know.
I can't remember which ones were popular back then. I don't remember.
Which one? Oh, glasses. Ray-Bans were
Yeah.
huge, but I don't
Man,
know.
hands.
In the black community, I don't know if there was.
Yeah, I don't
anything.
know.
Yeah,
Ray-Bans and Varnays, right? Were the big ones.
I don't know those. I was a kid that couldn't afford anything.
like, what can I do? Like a blues version of it, like where you can't afford anything, you just go with what you got. You know.
If it's a rap battle, you lose.
That's
If you're going to compete in a rap battle, you have to rap,
I'm
right?
not into that, man. No, I don't like
Look.
the whole rap thing. I don't want to spend any money on nothing. And that's the whole thing.
Or you could dress up like Eminem.
I think I'd just be myself, you know. I just dress
Just
like I am.
Or
Like,
just
my
put up.
shirt. Look, my shirt says tradition. That's something that's because I'm Jewish. But
It's gonna be like Malibu.
I think there's no tradition. No, but I think that tradition, though. I mean, they're into the traditional thing. They're into old school. I should be able to be like old school.
Yeah, the Beastie Boys, the only rock rap I listened to, says Brett McCord. Yeah, they were my senior year of high school. They brought it out, and it was okay. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I didn't buy the album, but now I actually like their later stuff. Like one of my favorite songs is why can't I think of it? Sabotage. I love Sabotage. When they learned how to play their own instruments, and they weren't particularly great at it, but
Had a good video too.
I mean,
they worked hard.
I'll tell you. I mean, I never really liked Devo, but I think as far as rap goes, it's one of the few bands I can like nearly stomach.
Devo.
They
I don't
weren't
know if
really.
they're not rap. They
No,
were
they were-
awesome though.
I have Devo, a freedom of choice
There you
on
go.
a track somewhere.
That's amazing. Yeah.
True.
Well, and I
Somewhere.
think the Cars is where like it started to like turn into music again. And no, I'm trying to think like like flock of seagulls. I think they were pretty good for rap. Trouble with this.
It's all
I
generation.
don't know of any rappers really. I don't know. Like Run DMC, I think so. Yeah, it was just mentioned.
LL Cool J.
I don't like when I was like if I could maybe my teeth are crooked, maybe I take one of them and put some gold. Like if I could like glue a gold cap on there or something.
You could buy a crunk. You go like to some local shop. It's called a crunk, right? CRUNK. It's like dentures. It's like have you ever seen those vampire teeth?
Really?
Yeah, it's just a thing you put on your teeth. You can buy it. Probably find a cheap one for like $5.
Yeah,
It'd be hard to find, though.
What about I could take my watch and I could probably glue diamonds all around here and stuff. You know, just glue them on there. I mean, that would make it. No, I mean that's my point though. Really, I don't want to do that. I don't see anything wrong with going so old school with it and rebelling against it in the sense that I'd walk back into like rhythm and blues and maybe I don't know. I
You're
mean,
gonna lose. I want you to win here.
okay, now
I
how
think it would be hilarious.
okay, now think about this. How is G-Man going to beat me?
He just has to rap.
G-Man has
Hard.
serious natural
I could do
talent,
it
man.
naked and I'd still win. I could do it in the bathtub or I could do it in the shower. I don't
Yeah,
want
but if you've heard G-Man in any debate rooms or anything like that, he is quick on his feet.
Mhm.
but he's
But he's
not quick when it comes to rap.
no. That's what. But see, I agree with you. But if you go into, let's say that it was a cake baking
And I
contest.
don't have my Egyptian hat anymore. The Egyptian.
Yeah, think about it. If you were battling G-Man in a cake baking contest and you delivered to the judges fajitas, you're gonna lose.
So wait a
So
minute. What about Georgia something line? Something there's a country band, Georgia something line. I can't think of the name of it.
And you need to put your
No,
dog. You need to
they
put your dog in a
They rapped
bikini
in it and somehow it was accepted.
because no rap video is complete, right? Think back to MC Hammer, right? No rap video is complete without somebody in a bikini. So you need to get your dog and you need to put a bikini on your dog.
I would consider dog or myself. I would consider bikini myself. Do that.
tough. That's a tough.
The guy,
Yeah, you gotta have bling.
I think last time I didn't.
No, there's Old Town Road,
I got the name Saddle.
a new song.
Time I didn't wear a shirt. You know.
We played Old Town Road the other day when I was on your chat and we were dancing and I was drinking wine. There's a modern rap song, the one that was #1 for like 20 weeks, called Old Town Road with Billy Ray Cyrus and the gay guy, Lil Nas X. And he raps, remember? He raps kind of country. That's why I say, he goes, I got my horses on my back. And you just say, it's a black guy talking like that, like a little southern.
Yeah.
And so,
Think
say
about tractors, sexy.
No,
There
there
it
are
is.
black cowboys. There are black cowboys. There's not many, but they are out there.
how many black gay cowboys do you
But
know,
the
though?
point is, there's got to be white guys that do
Yeah,
rap
black.
too.
Huh?
I mean, why though do you have to be this color or that color to play this style or that color of music or have to dress a certain way? It's like a costume party.
Yeah. Dale says Florida Georgia line. That's
That's
the
it. And
band.
that's why I hated that dang band. To be honest, Dale Palmer, I have to be honest. Yeah, I hated that when I heard it. I said, where the heck's the pedal? No, I didn't. Even in front of family, I think I said it. Where the hell's the pedal steel? This stuff's horrible. There ain't no pedal steel in this. You can't call it country. Dang, Charlie Daniels almost destroyed it. It was like, it's not sacrilegious, but the thing about it, if you don't got a fiddle in the band and it's, I don't know, whatever, where's the pedal steel? Until you hear that crying, whining, people, look, if you can drive down the road and drive a truck without bawling and crying and nearly causing an accident, it's not country. And
Most country today isn't country.
that's right.
Most country today is just like pop rock. Basically, it's pop rock with a little tiny bit of twang to it. Maybe it's not true country. I don't think.
No, I think there's a few guys like doing it, but yeah, does seem a little harder to find. I agree with you. You know, it definitely changed. I guess, but okay. So you think the Carl's voice in an actual rap type of thing? Well, I could like spike my hair. That wouldn't be actually proper. Well, yeah,
Carl
sure.
was, and
If I had the right glasses and stuff.
You could go straight up Vanilla Ice with it.
Yeah, I could give myself a flat top, maybe. Dye it. That'd be good. I could get I have a flat top. I just cut it flat. Dye my hair so it ain't so like gray there. And then
I don't know what your area is like.
I can put some glasses with some diamonds and stuff on it. I might consider doing stuff like that. That could be kind of fun.
I don't know what your area is like, but out here the Halloween shops are coming out. I don't know if you get Halloween shops over there, pop-up shops. But you could buy a spray can of color at any of those places. Now's the time of the year. We're getting all the Halloween shops out here. I can't find them.
You could probably get a whole. You could probably get a whole Vanilla Ice costume. Probably wouldn't be that hard to get a rapper costume at one of the big Halloween stores.
Now I was arguing, and now you got me like thinking, you know, I could maybe like take some old computer circuit boards for something that's no good or something and make something out of that to wear too. I don't know if that would be cool or not, you know.
Don't go out of your way. The rap battle is about the rap. It's not about the crap. It's not about the accoutrement. It's about the music.
Well, wait a
That's-
minute, but that was all about the music thing, and then weren't worried about like what I was wearing and stuff. I would lose.
I'm not worried about what you're wearing. It's about you. You can't come in and do a
Good, don't
blues.
take off. No. Okay, I'll stop. Never mind. I'll stop with this whole thing about taking my clothes off.
Don't take your clothes off. You could say lines about taking your clothes off because that seems to work well. Like Nas, right? It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. That was a hit. And then you could have.
Oh, that was popular when my kid was in high school. I hated that stupid song. Nelly, that was who it was. Nelly.
Okay, and an honest thing is, would you want your kids listening to that? Like, I don't want my kids listening to that garbage, you know?
Yeah. Dang on. Sorry to disappoint you, dang on. There's Rob Reed, but there's no Thickshades. There's plenty of Thickshades here. I think he keeps getting. So that's not good.
Oh, they no dang gun.
The question is can Thickshades rap? That might be an interesting rap battle. Rob, maybe you can do like old school, like, in the Old Testament, that each side would send out their hero, to fight for them. Maybe you and Rob could just have or you and Sam could have a drop dead rap battle.
I'll be honest with you, right?
If I had a porno site, I send a auto.
I'm taking them out of the stream. You're not booted. You're out of the stream now until you behave yourself. But I was going to say that I think that all right, he's back. He's drinking his coffee. I think I would win. Not that I want to toot my own horn, but I was big into rap music. I loved rap music. I've done a little bit of rap music. Even if you listen, there's a song that I put out called "Carry Out for Christmas." My pastor wrote the words. I flipped them out a little bit, and the meter of the words was. I could play it for you if you're not familiar with it.
Okay, I'll listen.
And this is the vibe that you could give. It's not really rap. I mean, it's a white guy, right, who's trying, and it was a great concept because the concept that it was a Christmas around Advent time that my pastor was preaching on the concept of how one of the reasons that for trying to reason out why would God come to earth in the form of a child, an infant first, and it's the idea that Jesus was teaching us to be his hands and feet. We literally had to be everything for him. His parents did. And as his parents were his hands and feet, because he couldn't even walk, he couldn't even feed himself, so are we to be to other people, to serve them. So he came to be served at first, and then moved on to serving others and dying for others, and then calls us to be the same. So that's what the song's about. But I'm going to give you the beat if I can find it. And it's not really rap, but I sort of sing it. It's sort of my see if I can find it on YouTube. Carry Out for Christmas. Are you ready? You're going to like the beat. But this is an idea of how I'm going to beat G-Man.
He's a baby, He said Jesus has me. So if I shine you, here you go. Let's go carry out for Christmas.
See, I'm going to kill him. I'll beat him.
Yeah, it's good. Hey, it'd be kind of wild. What about if you could, can you imagine Frank Zappa doing rap?
Yeah, and he would have.
I bet that would have been pretty wild, But he would have been good at it.
Because he did Goof, think
he
about
did Valley Girl.
Yeah, Valley.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I think he could have been pretty good with it. Yeah.
He would have been great. But all you need is just a good piece. In today's world, you just need a good piece of software. And, what I used on that one is I used my MIDI keyboard, and I had a Rhodes. I mean, you could do so much now. It's ridiculous. I had a Rhodes, the old Rhodes organ sound on there that did sort of the thing.
It's funny, though. I should. I mean, I have equipment to do it. I just don't take the time. But I don't have anything MIDI hooked up right now. I have nothing hooked up in MIDI.
Have you ever?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just never really liked it. I like to just plug in and record. It's really retarded, but even all the mistakes and everything, but I'll cut them out. There's too many mistakes, maybe, or loop something, maybe, but not usually. I just play through it, and I don't record much. I should, but I should really hook my drums and everything up to MIDI so I could actually play, and hook up stuff, and my keyboards, whatever. But
Well, the best software that I used, I toot its horn, is Reason.
remember,
Reason
you like
good.
well, actually, something funny. Reason is notoriously good for that style of music. I mean, and if I understand what I remember reading about it, it was good for looping and MIDI work and that kind of thing. Or, I mean, from what I understand about it,
everything.
Yeah,
Like this, every one of my records that you could hear on the channel here is through Reason, except Walk in the Light. Walk in the Light was GarageBand. Some of that stuff,
Wow.
interesting.
I've done almost everything I ever played with just using like Sony Vegas, which isn't even an audio program really, but it's it's really it's video, but the audio is pretty decent, so I just went with that.
Reason just was easier for me because everyone uses Pro Tools and all of these other ones.
Cubase is really, really big. I kind of like Cubase, but it is complicated for my brain.
Those two are like the KJV, and Reason is like the NIV for me. So some people think the Reason is satanic, but to me, I love it. Now I am sharing. Matt L says, "Can I screen share a link?" I'm still sharing the link. I forgot that it was still up there. I don't even know what it is. For all I know, it could be going to somewhere bad. But I trusted you, Matt. But I don't think people can click it, so I left it on there for a while.
Matt made me cut my hair.
Is Matt the one that had you cut your hair?
Yeah.
Wow.
The one. He is the guy when I cut my face. Oh wow,
Yeah, this
it's like a family rap thing.
I'm kind of looking for something other than You got any French fried potatoes for sale in there?
That is funny, man.
is that the link that Matt gave? French fried tater.
You got any French fried taters in there?
Is that from the movie?
Another latte in there?
Now some guy, but I think copying him's just as good. I don't know.
No, you're much better than that guy.
Coffee kind of make me nervous.
Coffee kind of makes me nervous. I think I have some more. Yeah.
That's like if I have my eyes closed, I think that Billy Bob was here.
Yeah, well, I never liked rap. I don't see it in the Bible.
So the guy named Jason Ward. We'll give him credit since we played his thing.
Yeah, it's funny.
How many? Let's see. I guess I'll look back in the chat, but we're gonna have a little contest here before I'm gonna end. I have to leave pretty soon. A free CD for anyone that can give me an accurate count of how many sock accounts appeared in this chat. How many sock accounts? So if you want to go back, see, the cool thing is I think I can see every chat here, or does it? Nah, unfortunately, no. So that's actually not a good one. Here it is. Who do you think are all the sock accounts? Robbie Weed was in there. Did Robbie Weed get deleted?
That's a good one, Robbie Weed.
I did an upload, and I think I did. What did I name it? Robbie. Yeah, Robbie Weed, and I don't even know if I spelled Robbie right or wrong. Sorry, Robbie Weed and whatever. I don't. I'm hoping he doesn't flag it down because I know I should have before I put the whole video up that he used of other people's material. I should have put it on the screen and like distorted it like to look like an old TV screen, so that way he couldn't flag it, But
well, sometimes he gets confused because when he uses the loving Christian and things like that, he likes to pretend that he's not Sam because he likes to try and trick people by using a misspelling. And so you can see where he's made another vital error. That's why I say you could come in here as yourself. I'll give you, if you email me, Sam, as yourself, I'll give you the link. That's why I know that if somebody comes in here in the private chat and is doing all the dirty tempting chat in the private chat, I know it could only be you. See, that way you can't hide behind a sock account. If Sam, you're watching, or you want to come in the chat, come in as yourself. Give me an email through your Thickshades or whatever, your big daddy Thickshades or whatever that email is that you have, and I'll know it's you, and then I'll send you a link. You can come on in and we can talk and try and make peace. That's what I want. But come as yourself, because here you reveal, I know you're Robbie Weed, and then you do the misspelling of Robbie when you made the correct spelling in your name. You forgot you were using the wrong sock account here. This would have been the Loving Christian, and then I might have believed it, right? So you see how he did both spellings here? The correct spelling is IE. That's how I grew up. So this one,
I always felt bad because my mom and dad, they never called me Brucey. Unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, what the heck?
were you just Bruce? They call you, and you were always Bruce. There wasn't like a little kid nickname for you. And if there was,
no, I mean, it really, really was upsetting. I'd be like, as I got older, I'd say, why don't you call me Brucey? I mean, heck, the other kids in school do. I mean, there was a song about me and all kinds of stuff. And my parents, they just didn't care.
A song about you.
Yeah.
Something tells me it probably wasn't a very nice song, though, knowing grade school kids.
Wait. Let me see if I can find it. We won't get Rob's. Let me see if I can just find this. It's got to be around somewhere. Okay, I'll type in Brucey song, just see if I can find it. Brucey the rapper. Holy heck, this world's falling apart, man. This is bad news. No, it's I forgot my purse and stuff in it,
There's a Brucey the Rapper account already?
Apparently.
They're fast.
Wow.
Well,
a lot of wisdom.
I cannot find. Wait, there was a song, Big Bruce. I don't think that's the song. I don't know. Pretty disappointing.
I don't remember that one. You're talking about an actual song?
Yeah.
Way back.
And yeah, it was a song that was popular when I was like 6th grade or something.
I don't remember. Bruce, with Bruce in the name.
No, this is definitely not it. Weird. Yeah, it's strange. Like some songs you heard that were big on the radio just seem to disappear.
I'm doing a search on lyrics for any songs with a result for Bruce in it.
Okay.
There's a song called Bruce by Rick Springfield from 1984.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't remember that one.
I don't either, but the chorus goes, "She called me Bruce, Bruce. I can hear her calling Bruce, Bruce."
Well, I heard that a lot, but
here's one though. This is from NoFX. This is they're not your type. 2009. What happened to Bruce, Eddie, and Paul?
Yeah, okay. Put in the name Bruce and Purse. Purse has to come in there. That's a big
Purse
song.
Bruce and Purse.
Yes. I can't find Purse speak. Purse.
There's a song called 72 Virgins. Did you do this on purpose?
No, but that's kind of funny.
It is funny because it's called 72 Virgins, and the lyric says something, I'm usually chilling out with Bruce Willis. That's where the Bruce is. Somehow you and my man met first. I was still stealing the money out of my Gram's purse.
No, that's definitely not it. It was okay. Put the word forgot.
United. Pride is my own technique. I maintain the paradise on
You
earth.
should be able to have Bruce or Brucey. I'm not sure. I think it's Brucey, but should be forgot was in it. Forgot purse.
Brucey?
Forgot purse. Yeah, I'm sure it's Brucey and forgot purse. That's where
Brucey forgot purse.
that should
Now-
bring it up.
I got a 2002. I got a 2013, a Jay-Z song. Look at how I'm chilling. I'm killing this ice. You don't even got to bring your purses out. We the dope boys of the year. Drinks is on the house.
Can you imagine that guy made millions with that crap?
On your house. Yo. Yeah.
The one that bothers me the most, because I'll tell you, there's I really was a fan of this kid named Craig David. He's not a kid anymore, but in 2000, my dad went back to England to spend time with family, but he brought us over, my brothers and I, some records. One of them was Coldplay Parachutes before it came out here, and we were huge Coldplay fans, and I was really happy when they made it big, but my dad brought that over first because it was big in England, and this guy named Craig David. And Craig David is basically Drake, but better. And Drake took Craig David and he made it popular, maybe because he was a little better looking, but both of them were good looking. I don't know how it worked. It's sort of like whichever one sold their soul for a higher price or something. Because Drake's stuff, when you listen to Drake, and I like Drake, but every time I listen to him, when I first heard Drake, I thought, oh, wow, Craig David's finally made it. And I go, and that was Drake. I go, no, it wasn't. That was a Craig David copy is what that was. And he's made it. I'm still looking. Oh, here we go. I got something. But no,
I
this
think
can't
I
be
might
it.
have found the song. When was this written?
Old Doc Brown, 1955.
Oh, there we go. Steve Greenberg. I don't know when this was done. Maybe this.
The only thing I know about Drake is when Madonna kissed him and he looked like he was going to barf.
Oh, really? He didn't like it?
No. That's the thing where she was doing, I'm Madonna, beep, you know, remember? And it was some kind of thing where he was sitting in a chair and she's dancing around and then she kisses him and he straight up looks like he's going to barf.
Can't blame him. Can you
Yeah,
imagine
me neither.
where that mouth has been? She dated Dennis Rodman, for gosh sakes.
Did she?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh. Oh.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't help you. I did my best.
Okay, this song came out in 1969.
Like John Henry, Paul, and his name was Bruce. It was
Is that it?
Big Bruce.
That's it.
This must be it, but I don't remember this quite this version. But you know, when you're only like you know, you're a kid, you know.
I remember hearing that song growing up.
Different.
You've heard that song? I never heard that song before.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah,
It's a guy named.
Sounds different than what I remember, though.
Yeah, anyway, I like what Brett said. Jesus in our hearts, it doesn't always have to come out of your mouth. A real Christian should know that. Yeah, I mean, we reflect Jesus in our behavior. So good job, Brett. Or we try to.
I do need to get a purse, so you know that's the other thing. I could wear a purse. I mean, are you allowed to wear a purse like when doing rap or?
No, purse is not. You don't want to mention purses at all in your rap. It would be inappropriate.
Why?
The what rhymes with purse? Curse. Nothing good for a Christian song. You're battling a Christian rapper. You got to do a Christian one.
So you should be a Christian song.
Well, I mean, isn't that what he wants? You can't use bad words, and you're arguing against him. What is the subject matter?
Well, I think the subject matter is G-Man. He just wants you to slam him around and make fun of him and stuff. And then his job, I think, is to beat you up or something. I think, you know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, there you go, Matt. That's a good point. The thrift stores, they would probably have. Yeah, I mean, they'd have to have some of that stuff. Hey, yeah, true. I can get some like shirts.
Steve Martin York outfit.
Yeah. I mean,
Polyester.
maybe more gray then. Yeah.
Only rule is no cussing. So I guess it doesn't have to be Christian.
Yeah, no cussing. Well, that's why I said I can use the Bible, but no, I won't do that. I won't do that. That would be
Here's what Matt says about Madonna. I want to see what he says.
I read that wrong when I first saw it. I thought it said Madonna has teeth like a tractor, and I saw it says trucker.
Same difference.
All right. Just I give you an idea what I think's rap. Like, did you ever listen to Red Sovine?
No.
Just look him up real quick, like on YouTube. Just look up Red Sovine and see what you come up with.
Sovine?
Yep.
Teddy Bear song?
No, that one was too popular. Roses for Mama, stuff like that.
309?
That wasn't bad.
Bill Joe?
That was pretty heavy.
This would be appropriate for this hangout, the funeral.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and play it and see how far you can get before you start crying.
I was walking in Savannah, past a church decayed and dim, when slowly through the window came a plaintive funeral hymn. And my sympathy awakened, and a wonder quickly grew, till I found myself invited in a little country church pew. Out front, a young couple sat in sorrow, nearly wild. On the altar was a casket, and in the casket was a child. I could picture him while living, curly hair and smiling lips. Oh, I'd seen perhaps 1,000 in my hurried business trips.
I remember this song.
He was a sad old country preacher.
You know what? I don't know any of that stuff. I wouldn't have listened to it.
I'm telling you, man, he caused
You should see
more
his face.
traffic accidents than I think anybody in the world. This guy was. I don't know, Rob, if you sat and listened to it. I remember my son. He was one day he came home from school and he says, "Why do you listen to that stuff?" And well, I don't know. I'd sit down, So I played some. It didn't take long till I think he understood. I said, "That's why."
Well, he's a really interesting looking cat. And the thing is, like, the carry out
is intense. The story, the whole thing. Yeah.
The carry out for Christmas song I played for you had 130 listens, maybe. This one, Red Sovine, the funeral, has 487,045 views.
That was a popular song back in the day.
Well,
it's weird to think that. Most people don't have any idea who the guy was. He did sing, I think, some, but I think his storytelling is what he was really noted for.
This guy Dennis Moody on that video says, "As a truck driver, I just want to say I love Red Sovine's songs. Thank you for putting them on here."
Daggone right.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Here's something. David Isaacson says, "The song that gets me crying."
My parents used to listen to that.
There ain't nothing better than drinking whiskey and crying.
I remember being in the back of my dad's Impala, driving across South Dakota in the middle of the winter, listening to that stuff.
Really?
Yes.
My parents never listened to that. I was listening to Brahms and Beethoven and Mozart and whatever. Well, I should say, except my dad probably didn't want to listen to that, so we had to listen to Andy Williams and all that fun stuff,
No, I grew up with that old twangy country music.
Yeah, Bruce, here we go.
As you said, as a backing track, the voice of Carl.
Here we go. You ready? Bring it out.
Yeah. I was walking.
Do you remember my song I did about trolling on YouTube? Do you remember the time I did that thing? That is the idea. I mean, that's where I got it, obviously, you know.
What? I don't remember you did a rap thing.
No, I did a talking thing where I talked about had this picture of this old radio sitting there.
Oh,
And,
I remember.
and I was talking
Yeah.
about how what the heck was this story now? I'm trying to think. We got trolled or something. I forget the deal, but we, for some reason, had to go to this bar or something, and they just happened to have internet, and we started trolling all the nasty people, you know, and there's this big party of trolling at the bar, you know. I don't know, just a stupid story, I guess, but it was fun though, kind of. Maybe I could do something like that in a rap thing, like trolling. And now, see, G-Man doesn't really fit that, no, I guess, but like trolling for Jesus and rap, you know, I don't know if that would work.
Remember that Christian rapper Carmen? He was real big a number of years ago.
I hated that
You
stuff.
were considered a rapper? Because I've heard some.
I think so.
No, he was like an end times guy that would talk like Satan and stuff, and it's like scare the death out of everybody.
What? Wow, I don't.
I've heard he did do some songs like that, didn't he?
Carmen was real popular for a while with the youngsters.
Yeah, but didn't he do that like scary thing where he played like the part of Satan or something?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Satan Bite the Dust.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the video going. Satan Bite the Dust is
I've got a message to deliver. One who's true and just will spin your eye, Father Blind Satan. Bite the dust.
It's kind of rappy.
not really. So I don't know where. But Forerunner Story had one. Carmen overcame cancer. Yeah, I heard that fairly recently. I was never, because again, the old hymns for me are like 2006, Chris Tomlin. That's where I started. So, oh, there's a pup. That's not the same pup you had on your lap the other day, though.
Nope, this is a different one. This is Baxter.
That's nice. I like Baxter. Shadow couldn't sit on my lap. She tries, though. She's not
Baxter's
here.
a big baby.
Shadow's a big lab. So I think I'm going to call it. It's been fun and peaceful for the most part, not paying attention to the trolls in the chat. And this is the beginning of, I hope, many things where the gossip is mostly limited and we seek for peace and to feel sorry for the trolls rather than to feed them.
Amen.
I don't know. I don't really like to ever see anybody starve. But
We'll save. That's a good quote. We'll save the feeding then to the Blessed Bible Fight Club.
Yep, I reckon.
I reckon that's a good idea.
I love you, even if you don't have me in every hole.
It's been fun, but this after party funeral, this is so that we attempt to end the current drama that's going on. The person involved says that he's going to keep going. My prayer is that you find peace and find some other things to do aside from it can't be healthy. It is healthy to maybe talk about Jesus, that for sure. Maybe to do something other than pointing the fingers at other people, or talk about your problems and the things that Jesus has helped you with.
Hi, puppy. I don't think I told in Thickshades Hangout.
He has a mohawk.
I think there's some text under there where I did say I was possessed and all that stuff.
He had a beard. He had a really nice goatee, but my son cut it off.
Yeah, it could.
Yes, because he kept dribbling it in his food, and my son got tired of having to clean his beard, so he cut it off. So now he has to regrow his goatee.
Baxter's hair, though. That's how your hair has to look in the rap battle at the top.
Well, you know what Paul said about that. Paul covered that.
That's perfect. That's your hair right there, the spikes.
Yep. He's got Liberty spikes. Where are you, Baxter? There you are.
No, there's a darn thing. I could dress
Baxter's got Liberty spikes.
Wait, is there any reason why the devil couldn't rap? I mean, I don't know how you would dress like the devil. Although, if I could have that mustache, Rob, and that beard, I'd be better off. Though I need that.
But this is a new thing. I haven't done a goatee in a long time, but I think this has served its purpose.
I would need that. I could pencil one in, though. I'm thinking I need some horns.
So you got to grow it longer, Rob. That's the thing. You
I
know,
can't
the
do.
only way for a goatee to look good is when it's long.
My wife would not, especially look at the gray. Wow.
So is that like you have the same issue as I had there with the mullet thing? Like it's kind of like it just doesn't fly.
I used to have a mullet.
Right, right. But I mean, if you were to have a mullet now, like would somebody maybe say no?
Hey, I heard mullets are coming back in style.
Well, there you
I
go.
just,
See,
yeah, I heard they're coming back.
From one video, just one video, and I made that happen. Now look what happens. You know.
See, you had a worldwide influence,
Are you
Bruce.
serious? You know, I kind of don't like them, but I would wear a mullet just because it's offensive and different. You know. And you know,
A mullet would look good with your "Make America Great Again" hat.
You got to go
Exactly.
full. You got to go full on though. You got to have a rat tail. Remember when the rat tails were popular? That's the look.
yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to keep it. You know, and
What do you
yeah,
mean?
people just don't understand.
If you can get an 88 tattoo or an SS tattoo somewhere too, that would look really good.
What does stainless steel have to do with this? I don't know.
Exactly, stainless steel. On that note, peace to you, Sam. This is
Yeah.
for you. The funeral's over.
Yeah, even if you are like a follower of stainless steel, whatever heck your problem is, out there best.
No. God bless you all. Thank you for joining me today. It's been fun. It was a
Take
good
care,
day.
all.
It was
Say
a good day.
bye-bye.
Less
Bye,
drama.
puppy, doggy.
Woof, woof, woof. All right. So the